wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Hope it's a good one for you.
Un dia closer to the weekend.
I opened my Facebook this morning.
Oh, why do you do that?
I know.
Why do you do that to yourself?
But the first thing that popped up was a video of a large man swinging on like a homemade swing, like the attached to his like porch or whatever.
Right.
And then like 6 feet in front of him is like a fire ring with a fire going. You know exactly what's going to happen on this video, and sure enough, it does.
Dude, I'm
just like, are you really?
That's a setup. It feels like.
It's gotta
You're
be.
just going for the views. It's never not funny. Ever not funny when you see a fat guy on like a rope swing and it snaps. And this is what I love about that is the way that gravity works is the wave of snap happens because the rope snaps, but then the shockwave moves down his gelatinous body and you see all of him just shake as he's violently thrown to the ground.
And upon further review of the video, he's actually like in his kid's little swing. So the swing set was built, and the chair, it was even one of those chairs that's not like a flat. It's one that's like got the leg holes in the, And so he's sitting on top of that. He goes about 3 swings. Of course, the chain breaks, and then he goes flying into the fire.
Do you remember the swing that had like the 2 seats? And you could like move it with momentum?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that one.
Did you ever try to launch your friends with that?
On that one, no.
So what you do is you get on the outside of it, right? You kids, listen closely. I don't think these are a thing anymore. I don't know. Maybe they are.
Them and those merry-go-rounds, I think, have been banned from all playgrounds across the planet.
Basically, all just violent, all torture toys. But no, you get on the outside of this, right? And you grab the bars here, and you put your feet on the thing, and it gives you the ability to get such momentum that you could launch your younger sibling, smaller friend, whatever. Either way, a good solid 5 feet.
Yeah,
like you could the arc you'd get on a kid.
Okay,
it's amazing.
Where do you get a good flying ratio? The seesaw or that thing?
Well, the seesaw was only ever good for 2 things, and that's getting a kid all the way up in the air and then rolling off so they hit the ground, and then when they stand back up, pop it up or give it a good hit. Yeah, these are just things that happened to me as a child. Okay? I'm just reviewing. Right now, it's therapy. I'm just going through child trauma.
Well, I remember when I was little, and I was littler of little. And yeah, fat kids I'd be like on the seesaw, and then the big kid would like be on the other end, and then just keep his foot there and make me stay up there dangling.
Yeah. Let me down.
Yeah. I was kind of bullied on that.
I'm gonna throw up. Let me down. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm trying to remember what's the name. Do you remember the movie with? Oh gosh, I want to say it's not them. I want to say it was Rick Moranis and somebody else, but it's like a bully movie, and in the end, They have
Tom Arnold?
It's Tom Arnold, yes.
And I think it's called Bully.
Is it just called Big Bully, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah, I vaguely remember that movie.
There's a scene in the end with the seesaw. That,
Yeah.
it's like the instruction video on how to torture a child with a seesaw.
I think I kind of got some of that. And I vaguely remember that movie.
I'm going to look it up.
But I think it's called Bully or Bully.
I want to say maybe it's Big Bully. Yep.
Big Bully. Okay.
1996 this came out. Big Bully with Rick Moranis and Tom Arnold. That movie, because that last scene where they're just running through the elementary school and finally he gets him on the seesaw. I'm like, I was sitting there taking notes. This is fascinating stuff. Thanks, Tom Arnold.
What's Tom up to now?
I mean, recovery. Still.
Is he? I thought he's good to go on all of that.
Well, yeah, but you're never recovered.
You know what I mean? He's in good shape. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He hasn't fallen off the wagon. And
I know he makes occasional appearances on.
I see him like on documentaries and stuff. Like whenever they do like an 80s or anything about Roseanne or something like that.
He pops up on random talking heads every now and again. And then like sport, I see him on hear him on like sports podcasts.
Well, he used to do the Best Damn Sports Show period for years. So he kind of had that connection. So other than that, I haven't seen Tom Arnold.
It's been a minute
doing anything relevant in a while. So.
Yeah, let's pull up his old IMDb. Why don't you give us the rundown while I'm pulling this up?
I'm just curious, did he get money in the divorce with Roseanne, or how did all that work?
Oh, I'm sure he got something.
I don't know if. I don't know.
See.
I'm just wondering if he can live off that. That's what I was curious.
Well, he's still apparently actively working. Okay. Let's see. This year he's doing voiceover work.
Okay. So
last year he was in the Christmas something MVP night. I'm not even going to say the rest of that movie.
Okay.
Another Christmas movie, High Holiday.
I'm sure.
Hollywood.con. World's Funniest Animals. There's that talking head.
Okay.
For NYC. And these are all just like in the last 2 years.
So he's probably paying the bills with his job.
It's all indie stuff. But, they're giving him SAG minimum.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He's paying his insurance, so that's fine.
I guess he's not doing stand-up anymore, huh?
I'd hope not. It would just be Chris Kattan. He'd just show up at a place and just tell stories that don't even have a point.
I always wonder, I got to go look and see online. Whatever happened after, because he just disappeared off Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother in the middle of that, and they really didn't address why he disappeared.
Chris Kattan?
Yeah.
Really?
No,
was
not
he
really.
wasn't voted out? He just
quit and then and left. And then I think he was in the finale for a hot minute, like they did a video thing with him. But they didn't explain nothing. I think I know what happened. We all probably think we know what happened.
But he's probably got...
Nobody said what happened.
He's probably got handlers and agents that said, hey, let's not talk about that, okay?
I'm just trying to think.
Let's not talk about the 14-day Coke binge he went on.
Has he got that kind of money to cover up that stuff? Anyway.
Of course he's got that. He's holding down Corky Romano money, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure that's plenty there.
You think he's got a super expensive taste? I mean, he's... Besides his drugs.
I was about to say, maybe.
He's probably hanging out. He's probably living on top ramen and drugs. I mean, I get it. It's a living, man.
Oh, man. Let me give you the rundown.
Yes.
Now I'm going to do that.
There you go.
I actually have a full slate for you today.
Don't you dare tell me how to run my show.
Now go ahead. I don't care. Yesterday, we had coming through town, actually. She was at the chamber last night doing a meet and greet. Candidate for House of Representatives in CD1, Republican candidate Michelle Garcia Holmes was in town yesterday. So she dropped by the studio. We had a chance to chit-chat with her for a little bit. So I'm going to play that interview for you. And so in case you hadn't heard, they did a congressional redistricting.
Yeah. And
many of you that live in Roswell will now fall under CD1 and not CD2. There might even be a few in CD3, just depending on where you live.
Right.
We kind of got the whole gamut here in Roswell, Chaves County area now. So
and those in CB4, you're just going to eat your big-ass biscuit and mind your business, okay? Sorry,
see? Will Smith should have known better. You don't mess with CB4.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Don't mess with CB4.
Anyway.
Put this biscuit in your mouth.
That's a 90s reference.
That's
kids.
very much a 90s reference.
Go look up CB4. The letter C, letter B, 4. So Michelle joined us yesterday, but since kind of CD1's new to us, you may not be familiar with some of the candidates and things. So we get a chance to introduce and meet Michelle Garcia Holmes and hear what she has to say. So we'll play that for you here in just a little bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, Wadena Jennings, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell, scheduled to join us, give us an update on all things happening around the city. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, I put 8:15 twice, but it's 9:15. Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will join us and give us an update on pets available for adoption and all that good stuff.
Nice.
So, and your features include the news of the local and national variety featured, whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
There you go.
All right. I reckon ought to do some weather.
Oh, should.
It's going to be hot and windy. We got red flag warnings, all that stuff you love in today's weather forecast. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today, and then get ready for very gusty wind coming our way tomorrow with a low pressure system headed in. Sunny and mid-90s today and breezy for the overnight hours, mid-50s and clear. Then we could get some wind gusting at about 50 miles per hour tomorrow. Blowing dust will be a problem across the roadways. We'll have sunshine and mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 54 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 22% with wind speeds out of the south at 3 miles per hour. As I'd mentioned, we do have the red flag warning that's going to take effect at 9 a.m. this morning. That will remain in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. And that's because of the low humidity winds, all the recipe that it takes for opportunities for fire here. So we are looking at sunny today, warm, 95 our high. Winds will be out of the southwest 5 to 10 this morning, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. Increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 56. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, that's one's going to be a kind of a stinky day tomorrow. It's going to be warm, sunny. Once again, highs in the upper 90s or mid-90s, 94. But we do have a high wind watch 9 a.m. to midnight tomorrow and fire weather watch from noon to 9. I'm sure that will be upgraded to a red flag warning at some point either later today or overnight or something. But what we're looking at tomorrow is areas of blowing dust for the afternoon, sunny and 94 with south winds 10 to 20 early, picking up 25 to 35. Could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour tomorrow. Tomorrow night, the areas of blowing dust and all that continues. Otherwise, mostly clear with an overnight low of 53. Winds will remain up out of the southwest, 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. Those winds will die down to 15 to 25 after midnight. Looking at the weekend on Saturday, sunny, high near 80. So a cool down, about a 15-degree cool down there. Winds will remain breezy out of the west, 15 to 25. Early, picking up 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 45. And then Sunday, we'll be down into the upper 70s, 78, and sunny on Sunday. And at least through Tuesday of next week, we'll stay in the 70s. Although, I don't want to get your hopes up, but Tuesday night, Wednesday, they're talking rain chances, like a 30 to 20% chance right now. We'll see if that increases or more than likely decreases by the time we get close to those days. But cross your fingers. We'll see what happens there. All right, it is 7:18. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side of the break, we'll play our interview with candidate for House of Representatives in Congressional District 1. Republican candidate Michelle Garcia Holmes. She'll join us on the other side, or we'll play the interview for you on the other side. Don't go away.
The Valley Cafe is now open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Located inside the 180 Youth Building across from Church on the Move on Brasher in Roswell. Enjoy soups, salads, sandwiches, burgers, and more. Try one of their signature creations like the Sweet and Spicy Burger with honey jalapeno bacon barbecue sauce, the Chicken Cordon Bleu Soup, Chef Anthony Noble's fried avocados, and the Smotherman Burger with creamy green chili sauce. Or swing by for coffee or breakfast burritos on your way to work. The all-new Valley Cafe
Cafe, open Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or even a snack after school. Don't feel like leaving home? Order takeout from DoorDash.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Come join in the fun. The United Way of Eddy County presents the Cinco de Mayo Golf Tournament, Saturday, May 7th at Riverside Country Club with a 9 a.m. start and over $1,000 in payouts per flight. Plus, raffle prizes, breakfast provided, mulligans available, and so much more. For more info, call Maria Cole at the United Way at 575-887-3504 or contact the Riverside Country Club. Live United at the United Way of Eddy County Cinco de Mayo Golf Tournament, Saturday, May 7th at the Riverside Country Club, 1700 West Orchard Lane in Carlsbad.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
And welcome back to the morning show. And joining us in studio this morning, congressional candidate in CD1 here for the House of Representatives, Republican, running here in the June primary, Michelle Garcia-Holmes joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for joining us here. Good to meet you here. I know this is kind of an introductory thing because it's new for everybody.
Right.
Now that, I've been in New Mexico, I've been in Roswell since 2000, staunch, in CD2 here for all that time. And whatever your thoughts are, love, hate, whatever, about the redistricting, that's what's happened here.
Right,
and so Roswell has been just kind of split at the seams here with really, we have all 3 congressional districts in Chaves County. And CD1 now covers most of Roswell now. That's where we were all 2. I think 2 just covers a very small section where 1 is. So more than likely, if you live in Roswell, you're probably under CD1 now.
Yeah, Yvette Harrell has had this district for a very long time, and she still has part of Roswell.
Oh, yeah.
District 1 has carried into the north side of Roswell, and kind of on Main and Garden, and I think it's called Bendo. That area is now in CD1. And so that's what I'm doing here today. I want the listeners to get to know me, learn about me, know why I'm running for Congress, and know that I'll be representing their district well. And
this is, and I know, and I'm sure as you've been meeting folks here in the town and things like that, not a lot of people aren't very happy with this redistricting here. And I think, I guess your solution would be that if you want the conservative values, then you need to vote conservative here. And I think CD1 will be fine. And, we just vote conservative. I'm sure that's the way you would agree with that statement.
I always tell people elections have consequences.
Sure.
And I think, if you take a look at our past elections, the 90 years of Democrat-dominated control in our state legislature, you see the results of the consequences of that type of vote. I mean, we're 51st in education, right? If you count Washington, D.C. We're at the bottom of the list of all the good things. Our kids aren't graduating. Education is a huge problem here. Crime, I have the Bernalillo County area. That is a catalyst of crime. We have border issues. The border issues overflow into District 1. And now we're very close with Roswell, right? So, there's going to be a lot of issues that I would enjoy working on with Yvette Harrell. I am sure she's going to get reelected. But now we're going to have several Congress people representing our conservative values.
Well, and I'm curious, because obviously, as a conservative here fighting, for election, various things in Bernalillo County, that area, Albuquerque, that part of the state, very liberal, very traditionally a liberal part of the state here. When this redistricting happened, I got to imagine from your perspective, you look and say, you know what? Now the district might be a little bit more balanced in terms of being actual more conservatives in my district. So I'm thinking for the Republicans, obviously you in particular here are probably thinking, you know what, this is this is probably a good thing for the overall in the state, because at the end of the day, we're getting a little bit more balance as far as who's representing us in D.C.
Absolutely. And I think that's what New Mexico has always lacked. It's always lacked balance. Right now, we just have one conservative representative in Congress, right? Everyone else, our 2 senators, our other 2 congresspeople, they are far left, progressive, socialist, radical liberals. And we need a balance. And I believe that redistricting helped District 1 become more balanced.
Sure.
A lot of the conservative areas that I assumed in District 1 are now balancing out that liberal vote in the Bernalillo County area. So I'm excited.
Sure.
I'm very excited to be representing some of Chavez County for sure.
Well, and so I guess the trick now is, well, the people that may have kind of looked at your career and looked at what you've been doing at a passing glance, because we watch it from afar because we always want to see what the state does. But since we don't get a say per se in that election, we don't pay as much attention. So now that we get a say, let's start with a little bit about you. I did a little bit of reading, and of course you have backgrounds in law enforcement, district attorneys. You have a pretty extensive background when it comes to serving the public.
I do, and that's what's led me to where I am today, wanting to continue to serve. I served 30 years as a commissioned policewoman. 20 of those years I spent with the Albuquerque Police Department. I started from the ground up in 1984, went through the police academy, threw on a uniform, a gun belt, my Kevlar vest, and hit the streets. For some reason, I did not pick the easy areas to work. Go ahead and laugh. I worked at the International District of Albuquerque, which is, well, I call it AKA the war zone.
Gotcha.
It was a tough district. I served 10 years on swing shift and graveyard shift there. I've pretty much seen it all,
Sure.
if you ask me. But I also took my career in a different direction. After 10 years, I decided to go into the detective bureau. And I worked property crimes and violent crimes, and ultimately ended up retiring out of crimes against children.
Okay.
That's where I spent my last 4 years.
Wow. And that's, I'm just guessing, that's probably the hardest stories of dealings that you had to deal with, I'm guessing, in all of your career, is the crimes against the children part. I bet that was probably the roughest cases you dealt with.
Yeah, when you see a child injured or hurt,
Sure.
abused, sexually assaulted, it's not an easy pill to swallow. But I'll tell you, it brings out the fight in me. I guess I've always had this inner, I've got to find justice, right? And justice for a child is probably something that really motivates me for sure.
I get you. It's you want to fight for justice for people that can't fight for themselves.
Right.
There's that,
right.
That mindset. And I think a lot of people that chose to serve in law enforcement probably have the same kind of inkling in their body. You know what I mean? It's just those type of people. That's what they do.
It's a calling. I have to say, it's a calling. Not everybody can do it. I was a field training officer at one time, and
Sure.
Trained fellow officers, and it is a calling.
Sure.
You have to think a certain way, and
I'm guessing too. It also gives you a unique perspective in a lot of your peers, counterparts in running for office, maybe the exact same one you're running for. They've had their own unique experiences and things that they bring to the table, but with your so many years in law enforcement, sitting in some of the worst parts of Albuquerque, coming across some people, you see the worst in people, but you also see the best in people in some of that. So I think you probably have a unique perspective in terms of compassion things. You see the stories, you see the people doing wrong, but you also hear the stories about why it's there, and so you can use that experience. I'm assuming in Congress, when there's going to be legislation they're talking about on the House floor somewhere, you've got the unique perspective of, I know what the cops are going through, but I also know what the people are going through. And so that might be something that will serve you well as a representative, I would think.
I think so too, and that's why I'm running. I have a unique perspective because I've seen the world through a different set of eyes. The second part of my career, I spent 8 years with the New Mexico Attorney General's office, and I worked under the King administration. I grew up with Bruce King, being a part of my family, and then I ultimately ended up working for his son.
That's kind of New Mexico royalty, really, is the King family, obviously.
Well, they're a great family. My husband and I have 5 kids that we raised in New Mexico, and Bruce King knew all my kids' names. So he went to my police academy graduation.
Sure.
He was a good family friend, someone that we miss. But when I went to work for Gary, I actually worked 8 legislative sessions and was the liaison to the congressional delegation.
So you see a lot of the red tape side of being a representative legislator.
Right. Yeah. That was eye-opening. I saw the perspective of how do I get Senator Bingaman and Senator Domenici to give me this money so I can take it back to our communities. And I worked on a lot of different issues. We got an anti-methamphetamine grant. We worked on border issues. We worked on money laundering issues. I like nothing better than going after drug cartels.
Sure.
Because they are poisoning our young people. They are poisoning our families. And we need to secure our border. Number one. And that is something that I think I will give a unique perspective to Washington,
sure.
Being that voice there of someone who's had that experience,
sure.
and letting, other states don't have a border like we do. So they need to understand that unique perspective and understand why drugs are flowing into our country at alarming rates.
Sure.
I helped pass the very first human trafficking bill at our state legislature, worked with Susanna Martinez, on Katie's law. I toughened up our child predator laws. Got to work on all those issues. I feel so blessed that I was able to be a part of those pieces of legislation. But something that I wanted to share with you is, New Mexico has always had a reputation of being quite corrupt. I helped Gary King start the very first statewide government corruption division, hired our attorneys, hired our special agents, cross-trained and cross-commissioned our attorneys and special agents, because imagine that there's some laws on the books that we're not able to prosecute people
sure.
when they're violating the law or embezzling taxpayer dollars. So, that was quite interesting working in his office. And
I just because of your unique perspective, and I know this is a vague, broad question, but from people on the outside looking in, I guess the question is, how screwed up is our legal system in this state? I mean, it seems like I think we all want the same thing. We don't want criminals. I mean, even you're hearing the liberals now starting to say, hey, we're going to be tough on crime too.
Right.
We all agree this is a problem, but no one's like, well, what are we going to do to fix it? I mean, is it really that the courts are so backlogged? I mean, is it a cocktail of things that have got this messed up, or is there one thread that we can pull that unravels and kind of makes it all fall into place again?
Yeah, let's circle back to what I said earlier in the show. Your vote has consequences, folks.
Yeah.
And if you keep voting for liberal elected that don't deliver, then you're not going to get a crime bill at the
sure.
state legislature. You're not going to have bills that are tough on crime and go after those violent offenders. I think one true thing right now, because of our revolving door, we need bond reform, number one. We need to educate our judges on this catch and release program is not working. You're releasing these criminals back onto the streets. We're having gun violence, shootings. I hate to say gun violence. Let's not put it in that perspective. Criminals are shooting people on our streets and killing people. And we've got to do something about it. How long? We can't just grow numb to this behavior of these people who should be incarcerated, should be serving time. It's time. It's time we, in reality, do get tough on crime and start putting some bad guys behind bars.
I do want to. I'm kind of curious. Obviously, this part we love our law enforcement. We love our blue. We back our blue. We have a great relationship with our police department and sheriff's department in this community. But nationwide, that's not always the case here. And You've worn the blue. You've done this. At a representative level, do you think they need to look at the way training's done in some things and maybe reevaluate how law enforcement is trained? Because I mean, every department wants to get better, and I know it's the training for law enforcement is constantly evolving. I know, whenever incidents happen, they're using that as lessons to teach officers and things. But do you think that maybe there is something at the training level they need to look at and address, or is it because I know a lot of it's. I'm one of those guys that watches the Live PD, the cops, all those shows, and I'm like, I always tell people, if you watched one of those traffic stops, and because it really shows the officer's perspective, I think a lot less people would be a lot less defensive about why officers do what they do, because there's a reason for everything they do when they do it. But I guess my question is do you think we need to, as law enforcement, they have to reassess how they do this? And obviously the public needs to be better educated on that relationship between law enforcement and the public.
Exactly. You know what I really love? I love citizens police academies. Are you familiar with those?
Vaguely, not a whole lot, but enough to know they exist.
I would love to take it nationally because, if one person went right along with a police officer, send them to one of those tougher areas, let them ride along for an evening and see the life of a police officer, what they go through, how they're treated. Law enforcement has changed so much from when I was there. I was there from 1984 to 2003. We were able to do our job. Did we need extra training once in a while? Of course. One thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is law enforcement is constant training. We have management of effort training that we have to go through, and it's mandatory every year, twice a year, 3 times a year, firearms training. I mean, the amount of training that law enforcement officers go through is pretty immense when you look at it. And my feeling and perspective, I want to circle back to Albuquerque. We have had DOJ, a DOJ monitor in Albuquerque for almost 7 years now. Crime is up 63%. I think that is sending a loud and clear message that the federal model that the DOJ monitor is utilizing is not working.
Gotcha.
I would like to go to Washington to fight for a better model for law enforcement and be that voice for law enforcement officers to say, hey, look, this is the kind of model we should be using.
Sure.
This is how we should be training our officers. I'd like to work with the International Chiefs of Police, have them give us a perspective as well. They do a lot of policy.
Sure.
They do a lot of, standard operating procedures, policy. And it's sad at the end of the day to see law enforcement not treated properly across our nation. I really find that quite despicable. It's a tough job.
I'm kind of curious. I'm listening to you talking. It kind of a compare and contrast is. This reminds me of like BLM, and what I mean by that is, you look at BLM locally. You look at the people that see the dirt, work the dirt, know the dirt. They generally are in agreement. Even our local BLM. It's when they get back to D.C., people that have never been here that don't. All they read is some reports about what's here, and then they make their decisions based on that, not knowing. It kind of sounds like law enforcement experiences some of that very same stuff. There's people in D.C. making policy, making edicts out there, and not really consulting the boots on the ground, the people that actually are day in, day out doing the job. Is that kind of what you're talking about a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You have to understand a law enforcement officer's job is very, very tough. You're dealing with the public on a regular basis. You're dealing with the public in crisis.
Yeah.
You're dealing with really tough situations. You're dealing with shoot, don't shoot situations. As a police officer, I just want to share my experience. I worked alongside a police officer who was arrested and sent to federal prison.
Wow.
Let me just tell you, as a woman that's worn the blue, a woman that's, walked the streets, worked, answered calls, been in different situations, been shot at, been kicked, been yelled at, cussed at, You know the routine.
Your night charming personality didn't win him over on those particular...
Not on the first handcuffing. No, I did not.
That's a shame.
But none of us officers that enjoy the job, that like the job, want to serve the public, ever want to work alongside a bad police officer.
Because they're besmirching you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, they stain the badge is what I call it, and we don't want that happening. You know, in any police department, it's just like any other profession. Though, are there good doctors and bad doctors? Yes. Any good lawyers, bad lawyers? You know, good people who work in government, bad people who work in government. It's the same thing. You know, that's why policy is so important. That's why training is so important. This narrative that the far left is setting out there, you know, defund police, that is the most ludicrous idea I've ever heard in my entire life.
I feel like they're backpedaling now a little bit on that one. Yeah,
they're moving towards the middle. It's an election year, Mike.
Yeah, imagine that, huh?
Imagine that.
Everybody's promising the world to.
They're moving to the middle. They're sending us checks and they're making us promises, right?
Yeah, and I think that the message is, you know, and if I'm a Republican right now, I'm shooting out the message. I hear what they're saying right now. Remember what they did a year ago.
Right.
You hear what they're saying now. Remember what they did a year ago, and that's probably going to be the clear picture of what to expect.
Exactly.
In another term under that administration.
If you follow me on Facebook, I use the hashtag Remember in November. Just remember, you know, their policies aren't working.
Yeah.
They're not delivering on their promises. MLG, I have the same name as Michelle Lujan Grisham, right? She has tainted my name. I'm the good Michelle. The good Michelle wants to go over there and be tougher on
crime. It's like the Wizard of
folks.
Oz right here. We got the good.
She couldn't get us a crime bill during the legislature.
I know.
Look at that.
And people were screaming for one.
Right.
Like there was nobody not wanting one, and we couldn't get it done.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's just, we've got to get people in office that can get the job done. I'm one of those people. I obviously have a record of passing good legislation. I have a record of getting the job done. I have a record of going to Washington and bringing back millions of dollars and working collaboratively with both sides of the aisle. So hopefully, you know, June 7th is election day.
Yeah, we
so
got primaries just a little over a month away, month and change here.
But we need you to show up. You know, that's kind of the problem that we've been having when we look at the data. Republicans are not showing up to vote.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't show up to vote, then we've got a problem.
Right.
And working from June to November, I'll be running against Melanie Stansberry. And if you really want Melanie Climate Change Stansberry representing you in Roswell, you know, that's not going to be a good outlook for Roswell, in my opinion. That's what she's about. That is her priority. Climate change is, you go to her webpage, and I recommend you do.
Sure.
Because she is not one that is going to represent Roswell.
And I'm guessing, probably more so now that your district has shifted a little bit, but I'm guessing you probably talked to some more oil and gas folks, because obviously there's more of those in the district now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the thing that I always get, that it's those companies work hand in hand with the government to meet to be honest, most of them go above and beyond the minimum government requirements. And
Absolutely.
Things. And I think that's the part that gets lost in the mix, is they want to paint the oil companies as bad guys, and it's easy. We'll get Hollywood to do a movie, and it'll be easy. But in reality, these people chew the same dirt. They live in the same. They don't want to tear up the environment. Their families live here too.
Exactly.
And so they do work with all this mess with prairie chickens and sand dune lizards and all the garbage we've been dealing with over the last decade or so. It's ridiculous. And that's what we're going to keep dealing with as long as we keep letting folks come run rush shop and tell us stuff that's not true.
Right, right. You know, that's the thing that we have to get across to those moderate Democrats, those people who, we need crossover votes to be able to win this seat. Now we need crossover votes to win all 3 seats, right? Because of redistricting. I have a record of getting a lot of crossover votes, and I also have a record of supporting the oil and gas industry. And I'll tell you, they paint a terrible picture of these people that work in the oil and gas industry. And I've actually been there. We got to keep our pump checks going.
Sure.
Come on, we're paying too much at the pump.
Oh, and by the way, China oil, the ones our president's saying go ahead and get oil from them. Do you think they're doing the environmental Greenpeace thing to get that oil out of the ground?
Not.
No, that oil that comes out here, I guarantee, was pumped a lot cleaner than whatever's coming out of China or Russia or wherever else.
You are 100% right, Mike. That's something that I always talk about because as a candidate, you do get asked the climate change question, right? You do get asked environmental questions. And to me, this is a global issue. Let's go after those bad actors who don't have regulations like we do here in the United States. We actually monitor our greenhouse gases. We monitor, methane, things like that. We are taking care of the issues. Whereas if you go to China, India, these other places, Venezuela, think about it.
They probably laugh at you when you said, "There's a chicken here that you might hurt if you start drilling here."
Right,
they might laugh at you.
Exactly. There's a silvery minnow we have to protect. I totally get it. Exactly.
I did want to ask one more question before we go.
Sure.
I'm running out of time and a little all over the place. But since I have a unique perspective here, I'm wondering, since you live in Albuquerque, that's your neck of the woods here, are you starting to see more Democrats come to you? And what I mean as more and more people get mad at the governor,
right,
which is happening. I mean, even her staunchest people are like, all right, this is ridiculous. Are you starting to win hearts and minds of people that were, I mean, the moderates, sure, but even some of the folks that were a little farther than the moderate, I mean, are they starting to realize that maybe they backed the wrong horse here and start to talk to you? I'm just curious to see if that tide's turning a little bit up.
Right. It's so interesting you asked that because, part of the campaign, we have to go out and get petition signatures, right? Yeah. So we've been all over the district getting petition signatures, and that was earlier this year. And you don't ask people, you don't know their party affiliation right off the bat, right? But you learn their party affiliation because only Republicans can sign Republicans' petitions. Sure. So we met up with a lot of Democrats. I re-registered these people. I had a little QR code that I carried with me.
So they were ready to jump ship that day.
Exactly. And the message we heard was, I'm done with the Democratic Party. I think Joe Biden has been such a disaster. He's taken our America and it's circling the abyss right now. And if we don't start to make change this election cycle, we only need 5 seats to take that gavel out of Nancy Pelosi's hand.
Wow.
Think about it. 5 seats, 5 congressional seats, and we can have a conservative Speaker of the House. This is a crucial election year to change the direction of our country.
Sure.
It really is.
Absolutely.
So, I get all upset when I hear people say this might be the most important election of your lifetime.
Sure. Because we do that every election.
We do that every election.
We do that.
But it's like for real this time. This is, and in New Mexico, we've been saying it for a long time, but it was true. Every time we've said that, look what we've ended up with. We've ended up with bad Democratic elected that don't deliver on their promises.
Sure.
Right? They just don't deliver.
Nothing else. Give someone else a try. See,
what have you got
what's
to
the
lose?
worst going to happen? Going to get worse? That's kind of hard.
I believe it's going to get better. We've got no direction to go but up.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely. So let me ask this before we let you go here. People listening, they want to get involved. I imagine now that you're kind of covering into some new territory here in Roswell, Chaves County, you could probably use some support here as far as, knocking doors and getting signs, all the boots on the ground work of a campaign.
Absolutely.
How can they get involved there?
Well, please go to my webpage.
Okay.
I have a webpage and you can look at me. I have a webpage and you can see my resume.
Okay.
I post my resume on there. And you can look at my platform as well. And it is at votemgh.com. Very easy. It's my initials, Michelle Garcia Holmes, votemgh.com.
Very good. And come and learn more. And I know we'll see probably a bunch here between now.
Oh, sure.
And obviously, if you get the representative position, open forum, and hopefully we get to talk to you, once a month or two, just to kind of chit chat.
Absolutely.
I was talking, Congresswoman Yvette Harrell does that, and I'm kind of like, well, I guess we're going to have all three of you on at some point or another because we can get everybody covering here.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be nice just to have such a collaborative effort? If we can take District 1, 2, and 3 this year, imagine what New Mexico would start to look like.
Sure, maybe we can start actually turning around these 50s and 49s and all these categories
Absolutely.
we're in. See if we can get into at least the 30s. Well, thank you, man. We appreciate the visit, and good luck in the campaign, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Great. Thanks.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Another shooting involving young people in Roswell. A teenager was wounded in the latest incident Tuesday night at a home in the 1300 block of South Adams Avenue. Media outlets reporting a 17-year-old boy was wounded in the leg, but is expected to be okay. He's being treated at a hospital. The shooter fled the scene and has not been captured. On Saturday, 2 young teens were shot and killed at Cahoon Park. No suspect is in custody for that double killing. And a reminder that the reconstruction of a main sewer line underneath a section of North Garden Avenue is scheduled to start Monday. The project will require North Garden Avenue from just north of East 4th Street to just south of the Spring River Bridge to be closed to through traffic for about 3 months. Access to local residences and businesses will be accommodated. You're up to date. That's a look at local news headlines. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
Watching the world's richest person attempt a hostile takeover of the world's most influential social network is the stuff of a Hollywood movie. Here's why Elon Musk's ownership would be good for both Twitter and America. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Twitter's board of directors is supposed to be the shareholders' watchdog. It pays itself almost $3 million a year, but owns almost no Twitter stock. It has no skin in the game. Now, Musk says if he buys Twitter, he will personally own $15 billion in Twitter stock, oust the entire board, and reveal his past questionable deeds, including banning users, mostly the conservative ones. His offer to the shareholders is financially sound. So why hasn't the board accepted? The only possible answer is that Twitter's board has its own agenda, one that serves them and not necessarily the shareholders, which they're supposed to protect. Stay updated on this news at twitter.com/KimCommando. It's a no-brainer. CarShield makes it easy and affordable to protect your car from expensive repairs. Protection plans start at around $100 a month and cover more parts than ever before. When you need a repair, you choose the mechanic, and CarShield's administrators handle the rest. No paperwork or headaches. Plans include coast-to-coast roadside assistance, rental car options, and trip reimbursement at no extra cost. CarShield has helped millions of drivers. That's why it's America's #1 car protection company. Plus, get coverage today, and you can lock in your rate. That means as long as you own your car, no matter how old it is, you're protected from the rising cost of parts and repairs. Go to carshield.com/Kim or call 800-391-8888 to save 10% on your plan and lock in your pricing forever. That's carshield.com/Kim or call 800-391-8888 to save 10%. A deductible may apply. CarShield.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today, and then get ready for very gusty wind coming our way tomorrow with a low pressure system headed in. Sunny and mid-90s today and breezy for the overnight hours, mid-50s and clear. Then we could get some wind gusting at about 50 miles per hour tomorrow. Blowing dust will be a problem across the roadways. We'll have sunshine and mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got some small school baseball and softball action going on today in softball. Dexter, 8-9 overall, 2-0 in district, will be playing at Portales. This is a non-district game. This starts at 4 o'clock. Dexter last beat East Mountain on Tuesday, 10-0. And in baseball today, Gateway Christian at home for a pair against Dora. That starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Gateway is 9-4, 4-0 in district. Last beat Elida last Thursday, no problems in that doubleheader. And NMMI and Dexter hooked up for a doubleheader on Tuesday. NMMI blew out the Demons 29-2 and 13-0. The Colts next in action on Saturday at Sandia Prep. Sandia Prep is 9-0 in district, and that game will start at 11 a.m. Saturday in Albuquerque. Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Tesla reported Wednesday that its first quarter net earnings were over 7 times greater than a year ago, powered by strong sales despite global supply chain problems and pandemic-related production cuts in China. The electric vehicle and solar panel company made $3.32 billion from January through March. It may be harder for Tesla to post similar numbers later this year. It's facing costs from ramping up new factories in Germany and Texas, as well as rising commodity prices. The heads of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank warned Wednesday that rising interest rates are squeezing the world's poorest countries as they struggle with the coronavirus and soaring food prices. World Bank officials say there's a huge buildup of debt, especially in the poorest countries. As interest rates rise, the debt pressures are mounting on developing countries, and solutions need to be found. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
The Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District is looking for a qualified field technician to join their team. The PVACD conserves the waters of the Roswell Artesian Basin with lands located in both Chavez and Eddy counties. Please visit their website at pvacd.com for requirements and job qualifications or for more information on this great career opportunity. Resumes can be submitted at the PVACD office located at 2303 East 2nd Street in Roswell. The Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District is an equal opportunity employer.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you can call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 7:57. Stay tuned next hour, about 8:15 or so. We're going to have Juanita Jennings, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell, join us, give us an update on things happening in and around the city. Of course, some of the big events, Brew at the Zoo coming up here. I believe it'll be next week? I think it's next week. Yeah, so there's a lot of that and a bunch of other stuff going on. So we'll get the update from Juanita here in next hour in just a little bit here. Let's see. A couple things I want to mention here. This is really for those folks out in the county. Well, it's really for everybody. But the PVACD, the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District. We actually had a great interview talking about this about a week or two ago. Go check it out at your leisure. But couple things. They are looking for qualified technicians to be a part of the PVACD, where they really protect the water basin here throughout the Pecos Valley. Also, the other thing I want to mention, if you live out in the county or out in the areas out there and you got your wells and you got uncovered wells and things like that, reach out to the PVACD and they'll come out. A lot of times free of charge, everything, cap them, get them all fixed up for you. The best way to get a hold of them is go visit their website. It's pvacd.com. Again, that's pvacd.com. Or you can stop by the PVACD office, which is here in Roswell, 2303 East 2nd Street. And then come by and then talk about the well or apply for their technician position. Yeah, that's kind of around. Technician position. Sorry. I'm easily entertained. I apologize. But yeah, that's a great opportunity there for some folks. And then, of course, get those wells. We had a great conversation talking about how they do all that stuff and tap into it. So, hey, the other thing, don't forget tonight, Character Counts of Chavez County is having their drive-through Teachers of Character event. And I believe it's from 6:30 to 8:30 tonight, I think, off the top of my head, at Church on the Move parking lot. And we've got teachers from all over the county that have been honored by members of the community. And so normally they do a big banquet and they have a big thing. But last couple years of COVID, they've done alternate ways of doing that. So the drive-thrus tonight, my wife is one of the teachers honored of the many, and so I'm going to try to videotape it and all that and make it available to you. But for all those that were nominated out there, come out and be recognized. It's awesome. You deserve it. All right, it is closing in on 8 o'clock. Time for some Town Hall news. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. We are awaiting word from President Biden, expected at any moment now. Announcement of another round of U.S. military aid for Ukraine, reportedly to include heavy artillery and ammunition. It's in addition to the $2.6 billion worth of U.S. assistance previously authorized for Ukraine. And the Russians are laying siege to a sprawling steel plant in Mariupol, where the last remaining defenders of the port city are holed up, along with civilians. Vladimir Putin has ordered his troops not to storm the plant, but rather to surround it. And Ukrainian officials, in the meantime, continue trying to evacuate civilians from the city.
The Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister has said that 4 buses have made it out. That's transporting civilians, women, children, and the elderly. That's well short of the 6,000 or so people that had been hoped would make it out through the humanitarian corridor. Now, we've also heard that there are talks, there are hopes for a new humanitarian corridor that will come today. That will take people, if it works, to the town of Zaporizhia.
That's BBC's Joe Winwood in Lviv. Unemployment applications edge lower.
The Labor Department says jobless claims fell by 2,000 to 184,000 last week. The 4-week average of claims rose by 4,500 to 177,250. About 1.42 million Americans were collecting traditional unemployment benefits in the week of April 9th. The fewest since February 21st, 1970.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont not ruling out another presidential run if Joe Biden bows out. First reported by the Washington Post, newspaper citing a memo written by Sanders' 2020 campaign manager and leaked to the newspaper's Sean Sullivan. Wall Street stocks higher. The Dow's up 276 points. NASDAQ ahead 174. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
Mother's Day is coming, and so is the challenge. What do you give the mom that gave you everything? This Mother's Day, give the gift of a lifetime of memories, digitized forever. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to simplify preserving footage of mom's wedding, your first steps, and all the milestone moments that made your mom, mom.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box to convert those meaningful moments.
Legacy Box is simple, safe, and affordable. Simply fill your Legacy Box with photos, film, and tapes. Our team of experts will do the rest.
Not to mention, you'll get back your originals and new digital copies on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud, ready to relive and share for generations.
Make your mom feel extra special this Mother's Day with what Real Simple calls the perfect gift.
Visit legacybox.com/lbox to get early access to our Mother's Day sale. That's legacybox.com/lbox for an unbelievable deal. legacybox.com/lbox.
A leading human rights group is urging Egyptian officials to release the autopsy report and investigate the suspicious death of an economic researcher detained 2 months ago. Human Rights Watch says the autopsy analysis and photos of Ayman Hahoud's body should be made public and reviewed by independent forensics experts to determine whether he was tortured in custody. It comes after Egyptian prosecutors said the autopsy report ruled out torture or any other ill treatment. Britain's Queen Elizabeth marking her 96th birthday privately today, retreating to the Sandringham estate in eastern England to offer the monarch and her late husband Prince Philip a refuge from the affairs of state. Elizabeth expected to spend the day at the estate's Wood Farm Cottage, a personal sanctuary where she also spent her first Christmas since Philip's death in April of 2021. She says he loved the cottage in part because it's close to the sea. News and analysis, townhall.com. A North Texas mall sets a curfew after an Easter weekend fight.
Beginning this weekend, shoppers between the ages of 12 and 17 will have to have an adult 21 or over with them after 2 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. 7 teens were arrested during what police called disruptive behavior over Easter. Reports of gunshots proved to be in error, but shoppers scattered as the altercation broke out. In January, some 30 teens got into it near the ice rink. 5 girls were taken into custody. Reports of gunshots at that brawl also proved to be false. Mall personnel will be at all entrances to check IDs. Rhonda Rockster reporting.
The World Health Organization says the number of reported new COVID cases worldwide decreased by nearly a quarter last week, roughly 5.5 million cases between April 11th and the 17th. And again on Wall Street, the Dow is up 275 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number, and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody. So I saw online a second video for the Top Gun movie.
Oh, yeah, the trailer? Trailer?
Well, it wasn't quite a trailer. It was partly a trailer.
Like a teaser?
It was more of a 4-minute video of going through the actors' training.
Oh, okay.
For the flight stuff.
Kind of a behind-the-scenes thing.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And then towards the end, it's a lot of film trailer stuff, but pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It sounds like in this Top Gun, the second one, they had to go through all the pilot training.
Right.
Not so much the learning to fly part, but the things like since they're in water, if they have to eject, they have to do all that training. So basically, all these pilots had to do, or all these actors had to do what the pilots do,
right?
As far as like putting them in submerged things and get them out of stuff.
So they had to actually go through like flight school.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean they did. I don't think they did all of it, but as far as
crash course,
the stuff
I would
that's
not call it crash course,
kind of required to allow their butt to sit in an F-18. That's what they and of course then they and then the way the video portrays it, it's like Tom Cruise created this training regime. I don't know if that's true, but because Tom's like, well, I created this program, and he goes, first I started them off in a single engine plane and got them the feel of their spatial surroundings while they're up there, and then we put them in another training, a jet fighter, which I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head, but he's like, yeah, and now they got the jet experience, and after that we put them in the F-18 Hornets, but he made it sound like he created this, and I feel like. No, we just put Tom Cruise there to do that. I know Tom Cruise runs the stunts and does all that, but I'm pretty sure he's not setting the Navy's training regime for the actors. Pretty sure the Navy got that covered.
I would agree with you if this was any other actor. Tom Cruise feels like someone who absolutely would be up at midnight on a Tuesday working out exactly what waifs and didos these actors were going to have to go through in their planes to be certified.
I don't care how many couches Tom Cruise has jumped on. He's not telling the United States Navy how to run their business.
Okay. What I think happened is he sat next to a guy that knew what he was talking about and put his own little Tom Cruise flair on it. I think he actually had legitimate training, but he's like, we're gonna judge this up a bit.
He has. I'm not denying he done an experience. He filmed another one, had to do some of this. But from what I understand, in the first Top Gun, when they stuck him in the F-14s and all that, they were puking and they couldn't. They were trying to do dialogue and all that stuff, and they couldn't do it. So they end up having to do a lot of that in a studio.
The need for a bucket.
Well, imagine acting when you're pulling. 10 G's or whatever.
That ain't easy.
People don't realize they're not just sitting in that plane like, oh, la-di-da, la-di-da. It's a workout, man. You bank left at Mach 1. You know what? It's going to put a strain on your body.
Your body wants to stay right.
And basically, and they have the flight suits, for folks who don't know, those suits are specifically designed to squeeze their bodies and things to keep blood in their head. So when they hit those high G's, they don't pass out.
Right.
And so they don't realize that all that stuff is going on there. And then they get a rude awakening when they sit in that cockpit and they's like, all right, you ready for a carrier takeoff? And your back of your head gets, buried into the seat.
You know how I know that I don't have the need for speed?
What was that?
So there's exactly one roundabout in Roswell. It's up north.
Okay.
My kids love going on the roundabout. It's like a fun thing for them.
Is that what you want to do today? Let's go.
We're cruising around. I'm like, hey, if you guys are good, we'll go to the roundabout on the way home.
Okay.
So we do 2 rounds of the roundabout, going, whoa, the whole time. I want to stop my car and throw up after doing 15 miles an hour twice in a roundabout. That's how I know I lack the need for speed.
Are you the guy at the carnival that's riding
holding everybody's stuff?
You're not riding the merry-go-round and you're like, hey, slow down, please.
Right.
Slow down. No. I don't want the horse that goes up and down. Give me the bench.
I'm the guy that's having legitimate anxiety. I was the guy on the bench. I'm the guy that's having legitimate anxiety when one by one they're having to let people off of the Ferris wheel and we're stuck up top. Yeah, and you got that one person that's wiggling the cart. I'm the guy who's like, maybe I should get on the floor right now.
I get you. Is that a heights thing?
It's a heights thing. It's a lot of things.
Do you get motion sickness? Are you that?
Not really motion sick. Not so much.
Like we know a person that they have to drive. They can't ride in a car, but if they drive, they're fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's something like that going on.
I'll put it this way. The Sea Dragon makes me throw up.
Which one's the Sea Dragon?
The Sea Dragon is that boat.
Oh, yeah.
It does this thing, the back and forth. Yeah, that makes me hurl. I can't handle that.
Okay,
just to put things into perspective.
All right.
Yeah.
I at this point in my life, I choose not to.
Sure.
I did some of that when I was younger, and I've never been a big roller coaster because I don't like heights, so they scare me. So I don't generally do those because of the heights thing. I did them when I was younger because Partly because you're with your friends and you can't say stuff like,
Right.
so you end up doing it.
At the same time, I'm willing to do things for the experience. Like I already mentioned that I want to do the Stratosphere when we go to Vegas.
Yeah, see, that's a bit. I don't need to experience that.
Just for the story, though, I kind of do.
I can come up with lots of stories staying on the ground.
I got all kinds of stories way down here on terra firma. But what I mean is, like, okay, I understand, like, going to a place where there's a secure, bolted down ride, like an amusement park, Vegas, something like that. That's established.
Yeah.
Putting yourself on a Gravitron that some dude set up on a weekend in a dirt field, that throws me off a little bit.
Although, after seeing that case where the kid fell off that ride, it was in the news just this last couple of weeks here.
Really?
I can't remember the park. It's a theme park,
right?
And it was that one of those rides where they strap you in and they shoot you straight up and down again.
Okay, like one of those.
And apparently, like
bungee cord things.
Apparently, like the kid shouldn't have been on there. He was over the requirements
They couldn't buckle it in,
and they couldn't buckle. But then he said that like after further inspecting of that ride, like 6 or something of the chairs were equally not good, and you're like.
Yeah.
And so, I get what you're saying. And maybe part of me in the back of my head, when I was a kid, I didn't care about that stuff. Now I'm like, does this place got a beer garden? I'm good there.
I'm just going to hold everybody's purses. Y'all go do y'all. It's fine.
Yeah. So I get it. But it's... but the Top Gun thing, that's I'm very curious to see. Now I want to see the movie more to see how much of that stuff gets in the movie versus the CGI stuff.
Well, because it's a Tom Cruise movie, there's going to be a lot of actors doing their own stunts, whether it's Tom Cruise himself or actors near Tom Cruise who kind of want that, like, hey, look, I can. If anything you can do, I can do better, kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just part of the and it's Bruckheimer. That's
okay.
It's between when Bruckheimer and Tom Cruise. That's a whole lot of adrenaline going on there, and and that's why you see so there's that. But anybody that's a pilot had to go through all that. An actor that's playing a pilot in that movie had to go through all that stuff. So when you see the new cast here, like in the first one you had your Wolfman and Hollywood. Now they got new ones. It's new names, Top Hat or something. I don't know. Whatever they gave them there. It's still Maverick,
Spider, and Duco.
Well, and those names,
8-Ball.
I was a maintainer. I was never a pilot, so I'm not in that world. But I think the names are chosen by others. I don't think you get to pick your name when it comes to your call sign.
That makes sense.
I don't think, but I'm not 100% certain. And I was a weapons troop. They, all my dealings with pilots, and they have a whole nother. And I've said this on the radio before. They got a whole nother vocabulary. They talk like when they talk to each other. It's like using code words and a lot of hands going this way and that way.
That's kind of any business, and I mean,
but pilots are in particular.
I used to work at McDonald's, and anybody who's worked in the kitchen at McDonald's, if you say throw down a run of 10-1, they're going to know what you're talking about. Nobody else is going to.
Yeah.
So it's like there's vocabulary and vernacular that gets tossed around.
But they do it within their own circles, like at McDonald's. You got your managers and you got your cooks and everything, and they're all speaking the same language.
Right.
I'm out there maintaining, and the pilots are talking one language, and the maintainers are talking. They're using terms like, and I know what they're saying. I can decode some of it, but they used to, they don't, like the seeker heads and all, they call them noggins, seeker noggins and all that stuff. And it's just one of the, they use their term, and they say, like, there's a term I can't say on the radio because it's got a cuss word in it, but there was a term that they like to say, and this was back in the 90s.
Could you rhyme it?
Yeah, I could do that.
I could. I'm not going to, but I could.
It was, now this was in the 90s, okay? So I don't know what they're saying now, what the kids are saying now.
Right.
But in the 90s, they like to say, sit hot.
Okay.
That's sit hot.
Gotcha.
And they said it almost in the way of like I'm Paris Hilton going.
I'm pumping out some spit hot guitar licks.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So they say things like that, and it's just, I don't know. It's a different world. But even them, and what they think, and sometimes they know their stuff, and they pretend to know other stuff, but don't. And that's another facet. And what I mean by that is, like, the pilot does a walk around before he gets in the plane to go up and everything. So he's walked to make sure, gears, everything looks good. And of course, when I was on the 117s, they come up and look at the weapons bay, look at the munitions that are on it, and so forth. And as a weapons troop, I'm there to answer any questions and then arm the bombs and stuff when he's satisfied looking at it.
Right.
So a lot of times I'm just sitting there waiting, and the pilots, and they touch stuff, and they do a lot of touching. But I know they don't know what they're doing in that area because they touch things that I'm about to take off in 10 seconds. Like, they'll go up and check to make sure a strut's on tight, a strut cover. And I'm like, as soon as you walk away, sir, I'm taking that strut cover off. Doesn't matter if it's tight or not right now.
Calling you on your crap, sir.
But that's the kind of stuff I'm, talking about.
I see that the manifold gasket is in working order.
But like they have.
See, now I'm just picturing a guy walking around in like an ascot.
Yeah.
I see that the flight line here looks good.
And then there's like tags hanging on it that says stuff like "remove before flight" on it, and they're making sure those are secure.
Checking the tag.
I'm like,
this all looks in order.
Before flight, I'm going to take it right off, sir. But you know what I mean? That's the kind of. I mean, a couple of those are relevant. Like there's a remove before flight for our bomb rack, but you got to play that one because if it binds, there's a problem. If it just pops in and out loose, then you're golden. So that one's a legit check. But the rest of them, they're just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's want to make sure you feel important.
But it's just a different world. It's and I'm sure some of that may have evolved, but I bet a lot of it hasn't. Some of it's the exact same. The guys on the flight line are dealing with the same thing we were dealing with 20, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? It's some things change, some things don't. All right, it is. Let me give you the rundown for this hour. We'll get you up to date with weather here in just a minute. Juanita Jennings, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell. I think she's here. I thought I heard Tanner go let our guest in, so she'll join us here in just a few. And then we'll chit-chat about all things happening coming up the city, including Brew Zoo and all the other stuff going on right now. And later on this hour, we'll get you up to date with local news and your town hall business and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do any of that, let's take a look at your weather. Got a lot of wind, little heat, and then cooler weather for the weekend. All of that in one forecast. And you know what? If I go extended, maybe even a little rain. So, got it all here.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today, and then get ready for very gusty wind coming our way tomorrow with a low pressure system headed in. Sunny and mid-90s today and breezy for the overnight hours, mid-50s and clear. Then we could get some wind gusting at about 50 miles per hour tomorrow. Blowing dust will be a problem across the roadways. We'll have sunshine and mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 64 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 13%. Winds currently out of the southeast at 6 miles per hour. Red flag warning. You're almost expecting them nowadays, right? They're just going to happen for a while here. Yeah, we do have a red flag warning that officially will kick in here at 9 a.m. and remain in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Today we are looking at sunny, warm, 95 for a high today. Winds will be out of the west this morning, 5 to 10, but later today, 15 to 20. So as far as wind goes, that's pretty manageable. But wait, there's more coming. Don't wait. If you're like, I miss the wind, don't worry. It's coming. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 56. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then for you Friday, we've got a fire weather watch that will kick in at noon tomorrow and remain in effect through 9 p.m. I imagine that will get upgraded to a red flag warning and a high wind watch as well from 9 a.m. to midnight tomorrow as well. So expect those to upgrade to red flag warnings because tomorrow they're looking at areas of blowing dust, sunny and 94. That's the good news. The rest not so much. South winds 10 to 20 early, picking up 25 to 35. Could see 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts tomorrow. The 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts and all that continue into the evening hours, mainly before midnight. Could see some more blowing dust and all that. Mostly clear. Overnight low of 53 with southwest winds 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50. They'll drop down 15 to 25 after midnight. And then your weekend cools down a little bit. We're going to be like 95, 94 today, tomorrow. Saturday, we're going to drop down to 80, sunny and 80. Winds will remain breezy out of the west, 15 to 20, increasing 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. We'll be back in the upper 70s on Sunday, sunny 78. And then we'll start next week in the 70s as well. 74 Monday. And then this is the part, I don't want to jinx it, but they're saying Tuesday and Tuesday night, we're looking at like a 30% chance of rain. Knocking on wood. There's a lot of time between now and then to dissipate that, so we'll see what happens. But don't get excited yet, but saying there's a chance. All right, it is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take a 3.5-minute commercial break, and then Juanita Jennings, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell, will join us in just a few. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
There are 3 key phrases that need to be spoken on a regular basis in a healthy marriage. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
You know, for over 20 years, Julie and I have been sharing these 3 key phrases, and here they are. I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you.
You know, it's so easy to expect others to love us, to say I'm sorry, and to forgive us. But you know, it's really a gift that we give each other. You know, the Bible teaches us we sow and we reap. Sow into your spouse, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. And then you'll reap a harvest in return. Someone has to start the process. Let that be you today so you can really enjoy your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Whether you're buying or selling, no one likes to be pressured into making a decision. So when Roswell Ford makes an offer to buy your vehicle, you'll have 7 days to think about it. Roswell Ford is always looking for gently used cars and trucks like yours, and we'll make you a cash offer on the spot. It'll probably be more than the other guys, and we'll give you a week to think about it. That's just the way we do business at the Tailgate Nation. So it only makes sense to see us first when you're ready to sell or to buy. Roswell Ford has southeastern New Mexico's largest inventory of nice pre-owned vehicles. Each one has survived a rigorous 139-point inspection, and Roswell Ford gives you a 3-day money-back guarantee. So if you find something you don't like, you can just bring it back. With the days getting longer and summer driving on the horizon, now's the time to start shopping for your next vehicle. So come see us at Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation, where we'll always give you time to think about it. 9th and Main.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
Buying a sewing machine from a big box store or online might seem like a bargain, but in this case, you really do get what you pay for. Just the machine. No lessons, no help with figuring out why it isn't working the way you expect, and no one close to fix it. Buying locally from an authorized retailer may cost a little more, but in the end, it will save you time, money, and aggravation. Come see me, Chris Ann, at So Easy Sewing, 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell, and let me show you why it pays to shop local. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
You know what happens in the spring. It's cleanup time. And AC&B, HF Sinclair, Navajo Refining, and the Boy Scouts are at it again to help clean up our community. The Scouts will come to your house and haul off items that you need to dispose of and have no way of hauling. The dates for pickup are April 23rd, May 28th, June 4, and June 11. Just call 575-513-0143 and let me know when, where, and what. Take advantage of this free service and let's make Artesia clean and beautiful.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock. Joining us in studio this morning, Juanita Jennings, back with us, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell. Welcome back. Good morning.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Doing well. Great.
Good. How was your Easter weekend?
Easter weekend was wonderful.
Good. Did you get to do some stuff with the family and all that? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
My parents came into town, and my kids, they got to see them, and then my brother and sister-in-law came in from Farmington.
Nice.
And so it was really great. It was really great.
I'm glad you got a day off. off. You don't get a lot of those. So
no, I don't get a lot of those. So it was
nice.
wonderful. It was wonderful.
Good deal. And the reason she doesn't get a lot of days off is because it's really busy right now. There's a lot going on. A lot of events, a lot of activities, a lot of information, just a lot of stuff going on right now the weather change, isn't that all? That kind of brings it by default. Anytime the weather gets nicer, we want to go out to the zoo and go out to our parks and do these kind of things. So naturally, more events going on.
More events, yeah. And I think we're finally back. Like we're getting out of that COVID era, we hope, and things are opening up right now. At the Recreation and Aquatic Center, we're gearing up for the summer outdoor pool opening.
Nice.
And so we are still looking for lifeguards if people are interested. Our goal is to have the pool open around May 14th.
Okay, I knew it was around mid-May it come down.
On the weekends, and then officially, open daily after Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day. It should be a really great time. Lots of fun happenings, programming. We did an aqua egg hunt this year instead of our regular egg hunt, which was really fun. And
do you actually put eggs, or is it like a plastic egg?
Plastic eggs, not real eggs.
I was like, is an eggshell waterproof? I don't know. I never tested that theory.
That could be a good science project, man. But yeah, so that was really fun. And then adult volleyball, we're gearing up for adult volleyball. And so lots of different activities. On Friday night, they're having their glow-in-the-dark dodgeball tournament.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So if you want to come out and enjoy a game of dodgeball,
nice,
come join us.
And maybe you can use your extra stealth skills in the glow-in-the-dark version. That should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's very affordable. You can, if you go to RoswellConnect.com, you can learn more about getting season passes, day passes, whatever, to the Recreation and Aquatic Center. And with the warmer weather coming, summer months, the outdoor pool, more people are going to want to use it. You might make out like a bandit here by taking advantage of like a season pass or a thing. Yes. That way, during the summer, if you're going once, twice a week, it's going to pay for itself quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
So definitely look into those kind of things as great alternatives. Save a little money and get some summer fun for the family. So.
Absolutely. And then this weekend at the Spring River Zoo, we're celebrating Earth Day.
Okay.
So April 23rd, we invite everybody to come out and celebrate our beautiful planet.
Nice.
We'll be having just different learning opportunities for our citizens.
Okay.
We have different companies that are coming out there. They'll have different booths. You'll get some goodies from them.
Okay.
So it's from 10 until 2 p.m.
Okay.
And so it should be a really great time.
And plus, you're out there at the zoo, so there's all the other zoo stuff going on,
all the other zoo stuff. Yeah, you should see our little wallabies. And one new thing that you're going to see at the zoo is our elks, our mom and dad elk.
Okay.
Alexis's parents. Remember last year we had the little baby? Well, she's not a baby anymore.
She's
big baby.
A year ago, the problem was a new home for little baby becoming big baby. So that got solved, and now we got, new problem is we got to make room for more family coming in.
Yes, so our exhibit is done. It's completed, so thank you to our community, Roswell. You guys funded that with donations, our friends of the zoo. So the exhibit is done, so we got to bring mom and dad over. And so we moved them on Tuesday, and so far, knock on wood, so
Family's
good.
Getting along.
Family's getting along.
No family squabbles.
No. And so now we have 3 elk in that exhibit. So we have mom, dad, and then Alexis, our new little baby.
Well, and that should be fun for the zoo goers, because now you get to see them interact and kind of see, semblances of how they interact in their natural habitats in the wild, things like that. You'll see kind of a little bit closer resemblance to them in their natural environment.
They are big.
Yeah.
I did not realize how large these elk are, like when you are close up. They are huge.
Yeah, pictures don't do them justice.
No.
And then you stand next to them and you're like, oh, wow. Either I'm really short or that thing's pretty big.
Yes.
And
yeah, so they had their vet checks on Tuesday, and then they got moved over, and so far so good. So a new thing happening, and then in a couple of weeks we are going to open our butterfly garden, which is our pollinator garden. This year we're going to have butterflies. Again, it's more about the plant life that, how do butterflies become butterflies, from Project Chrysalis to, all of the process. So that type of education, where the bears are just to the west of that area, it had been kind of just sitting there.
Sure.
And so
needed something to do there.
Yes. Our last December's campaign was to, again, help us with donations, the admission fees. Obviously, those help us to create these new projects.
Sure.
And so the weekend of May 7th, which will be a free zoo day, we invite the public to come out and see our butterfly garden.
Come meet the new members of the zoo there.
There's like 20 of them. And so just to set the expectation, there's not going to be hundreds or thousands of them, because part of the educational process is they have to kind of lay their eggs and mate.
It's the life cycle.
It's the life cycle of it, but lots of different plants.
It just so happened, my wife, who's a second grade teacher, she's doing like a unit very similar to this, and so she ordered a little kit for the classroom, and it's basically she got a couple of the little larvae and everything in a little cup. Yes. And of course they feed them, do all that stuff, and then they pupate into the. So then they go into their pupating phase, and then she has to transfer them to a little collapsible cage thing. And so this last weekend they actually hatched. They came out, and so now they're back in the classroom and everything. And I think at some point, once they've done the lesson, they'll release the butterflies.
So we will have some butterflies that we'll release that day. And again, it's part of that educational opportunity for our locals, and then also for the tourists to see what we have. But mostly our goal is to bring in the schools, teach them a little bit about our circle of life.
And this is where that's why I'm a radio DJ and didn't get a career in science and math. Is that, like, do butterflies only do that in the spring, or is that a year-round thing? I don't know.
So my understanding, there's different timings.
Okay.
So, yes.
So, and I was curious, like, so is the butterfly thing, like, during the winter, is it going to be kind of barren because they're not doing nothing during that time? Or if there's different breeds that do their thing in the winter? I have no idea.
Yeah. So the plan for that area, the pollinator garden, we're calling it the butterfly garden because it's just beautiful and you can do a lot more creative stuff.
Sure.
There will be butterflies, but the other part of the goal is that natural habitat for plants. So like bees, how do bees pollinate? So having those type of flowers in there,
sense.
And then again using that as an educational opportunity.
So it's kind of like a seasonal microcosm. So in the spring, you're going to be seeing this, and this at the garden. Yes. As we go to summer, it's going to transition to this, and then in the fall, you're going to see this kind of stuff going, and then in the winter, you're going to see some things hibernate. You're going to see some things flourish, and so it really is kind of like a snow globe of the seasons in New Mexico and how wildlife and plant life,
and insects,
survive and live here in our part of the woods. So
absolutely.
Okay, very cool. So, now I got it. So it's much bigger than butterflies.
Yes.
Got it. Now it makes sense.
We're starting with butterflies, and we hope to grow to that. But
very
again,
cool.
Super big thank you to our community for supporting the zoo by coming to the zoo, buying things in the shop, because that is how we've been able to make this happen. And, we hope to just continue doing more and more every year.
Absolutely. So. Well, and I know, and I don't know if this is your segue, but I'm going to crowbar it anyway. Ways to keep events and things happening like this is come out on, is it 30th? Or
April 30th.
30th is Brew at the Zoo.
Brew at the Zoo.
Which, how many years now have they been doing that? It's like 3, 4 now?
3 or 4. I mean, with COVID,
COVID kind of put a damper a little bit on it, but it's back in full blast once again. You can come and pre-register. Do you do that through Roswell Connect? Or?
You don't do that through Roswell Connect because that is actually, it's organized by our Friends of Spring River Zoo.
So it's all through the Friends of the Zoo.
All through the Friends, but all of the money that they raise go back to the zoo for capital projects. So, so that is on April 30th. Tickets are $40. You can buy them at friendsofspringriverzoo.com.
And I believe it gives you a commemorative glass and 10 samples.
Yes, you get 10 samples of beer, and you get a nice cup, and they'll have food vendors out there, and it's just a really great time.
Yeah. And they got a DD rate too, so where you a different rate, and you get free
$25. Yes.
Yeah, non-alcoholic
soda,
drinks,
water,
and then of course there's going to be lots of food out there too.
Lots of food,
eat up and eat the food, and even if you're not a beer drinker but you're a foodie, you probably could do a food crawl as easily as you could. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whatever you're into, you can gorge on it to your heart's delight.
Yes, yes.
And of course, and then they'll have lots of opportunities for designated driving and all that. Be safe about it.
Be safe.
But come on out, have a beer or maybe get some food. Come and hang out at the zoo. April 30th. Again, go through the Friends of the Spring River Zoo through their website or Facebook page.
Yes.
You'll find links there and get your tickets. Are they doing day of stuff, or is it all at the door?
They are doing at the door till.
Pre-registered.
They're doing, yes. You can get your tickets ahead of time, and then they will do at the door if there are tickets available.
So first come, first serve, day of.
Yes, we encourage you get them early.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Because I think most people are planning the event, so they're going to gather their friends and say, "Hey, we're going to have fun at the zoo on the 30th," and so go and get your group of people together, and then go to the Friends of the Zoo's website and get your tickets.
I remember working I think it was the Oktoberfest when we were having it, and we had to turn people away at the door that night just because they waited so long, and it was like,
bad.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but
they just want to come and have a good time and help out
and night and all that. So get your tickets early, make a plan, and do it early.
Plus, you look cooler amongst your friends when you come in advanced and all that stuff. I know it's it's kind of embarrassing when you get there and like, oh, I didn't plan right, now I gotta So avoid all that. Just go and then all you gotta do is come and have a good time and enjoy the zoo and enjoy all the cool stuff and just out of curiosity, is there, or is this way too far in the planning? Is there some projects or things that they've got earmarked that they want to do some things in the future with some of this money? Like, I just want to, far out future stuff. Say, hey, you come out and have a beer, you're contributing to this.
So our bear enclosures, our next big project, our big
so
capital
a lot of this
project,
will go towards that.
And then also our Leprino farmland experience, which is our main entrance. So those are the two big capital projects.
So that's kind of where the money will probably go first here.
Yes, yes. Stuff. Other than that, right now, the other new thing that you're going to see, again, great support from this community coming to the zoo, is our reptile building is under construction right now. It hadn't been operable for many, many years. And so John, our new director, and myself, as it's been under our leadership, we really have set a plan of action as how do we improve this quality of life opportunity and tourist attraction to make it the greatest that it possibly can be with the resources that we currently have.
Absolutely.
And so every year our goal is to kind of improve it. And again, working with great partners like the Friends of the Zoo, we're able to do that.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, this is all bringing it, the goal of bringing this, because right now as it is, the zoo is really an animal rescue. That's all the animals that call the Spring River Zoo home are animals that can't make it in the wild for various reasons. So
most of them. Yeah.
And so they call the place home because that's what we do. We take care of them and things like that. So as this place evolves, it's probably going to kind of transitioning it more like the biopark. And what I mean by that is it's more of a research, and I mean, yes, it's there to come and enjoy and things, but it's as much as education and research and things as it is the entertainment and
conservation and really that's our goal. We're a rescue zoo, but we are steering away from that, and we want to be that educational conservation place for these animals and for our locals and visitors to really learn about the circle of life.
But in the big scheme of things, I think you guys are going to be both because at the end of the day, yes, we're using it for education stuff, but still at the same time, all the animals that are coming in are animals that are struggling out in the wild or in the natural habitats for various reasons, either because of man or because...
Some of them, not anymore. So we actually have 4 new, so like our wallabies, those were not rescue. Okay. Our capybara, those were not rescue.
Are they part of like...
Alexis, she wasn't a rescue.
Okay.
She, mom and dad. So we have... a partnership with other zoos.
That's
where
what I was asking.
Kind of transfer, babies, and it's kind of neat. So
it's kind of like the Smithsonian does, where they loan pieces to other museums. Same concept.
Same concept.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty neat.
So which is unique for us, because I mean, let's face it, there ain't a lot of wallabies native to our part of the world. You ain't gonna see them just, hopping up and down the highway or anything. They're not doing that.
And those wallabies are feisty.
Yeah.
They were cleaning out the pen and trying to do. Wow.
Yeah.
And they're fast.
I actually, when I was a teenager, I got to go to Australia. I was very fortunate through the Boy Scouts, and we got to go to the zoo, and so I got to hold koala bears and be right there with kangaroos and the wallabies, and so a lot of those animals that are native to Australia, New Zealand, those areas, and so it was kind of cool to hold them and see them. And I haven't done it since, obviously, but it's kind of neat that folks in Roswell can experience some of that stuff and not have to go to Australia to do it.
Yes, come on down. Yeah. Come on down.
Good deal. So. Again, April 30th, brew at the zoo. Go to, is it like friendsofspringriverzoo.com?
Yes, or you can find it on our website at springriverzoo.com. We have a link to their page, but
Very
Get
good.
Your tickets. Get your
Excellent.
tickets.
What's next we want to promote?
So I think the next thing that we have coming up, obviously, is UFO Festival. We're in high gear. We're less than 72 days away about.
I'm thinking, and I'm not trying to make nobody nervous, but
Sure.
like right now is like the most nerve-wracking time for UFO. I mean, obviously the day of, everyone's scrambling, but we're in that spot where in a lot of people's brains, it's still a ways out, but it's really not.
It's not.
So a lot of people are like, oh, we got time. And then you look, it's like, it's almost May.
Right.
There's not a lot of time. So I'm guessing there's a little bit of the crunch pressure starting to feel a little bit with all the people involved on getting this ready.
Yeah, so we had our community meeting this past Tuesday. So thank you to everybody who came out. It's coming along really great. We have our kids zone area that we're looking for sponsorship. So if you're a business in this area and you want to sponsor the kids zone, which is an interactive experience for kids, please give us a call, 624-6700.
Lots of benefits for you, the business, as a sponsor as well. You get obviously you're helping out and being a part of this, but so I'm thinking if you're a kid-centric business of some kind, this might be a good thing for you to sponsor.
Absolutely, and lots of different marketing opportunities with the sponsorship. So different levels. We have our print deadline that's coming up, and that's why we say we need to have sponsors in no later than May 15th in order for them to get the full advantage of the exposure of our marketing dollars that are. There will be some local, thanks to some general fund money, but most of it will be external, bringing visitors in town. And then that weekend, our printed maps, our brochures, our calendar of our schedule of events, our signage throughout the city. There will be a lot of that to direct people where to go. 2 different locations, so our downtown district, and then just a couple blocks up at the convention center. That will be our kids zone, our Galaxy Cantina, which will be our beer garden, food trucks, vendors, inside guest speakers from the Daily Record, from the Roswell UFO Museum, Galacticon.
Nice.
And then, just lots of activities happening. The museum will have their planetarium shows.
Good.
And
those are always pretty popular.
Yes. And they'll have a new exhibit, Space Invaders. It's a really neat collection of art.
Cool.
The artist, he did a speaker talk just a couple of weeks ago, and so it's going to be fantastic.
Nice.
Ties in very well.
See, I'm still that age right here, Space Invaders. I think of the Atari game. With
Yeah.
It's like, cool,
It kind of looks like, almost like it kind of looks like that a little bit. So come check it out.
Yeah, very cool. So, and that's I know we always talk about, obviously the UFO Festival, we as a community, we love to bring as many people from all over the world to come and visit and all that. But we, the locals, check it out too. There's and I think there's a lot more that you're going to be like the food courts, the beer garden. And I know this, we have some awesome food trucks in town, but we get a lot of food trucks that come from outside the area to this too. So you not only get to kind of experience some of the local flavor, but some of the surrounding food trucks and what they're doing. So you really, some of outside cultures coming to us.
Yes.
And you get a chance to experience it without having to travel to them to go do it. So,
yes.
so if you're like, well, I've seen aliens, I know that bit. Come out and experience the food, the flavor. Come out, bring the kids out, let them have fun. Come out to Galacticon and go.
And dress up if you want.
Yeah, and if you love memorabilia and collecting, that's where you're going to find all that stuff. Participate in the costume contests and all, because that's just a lot of fun. And without the local support, the out of town folks aren't going to really understand how cool it is without that local support, that local flavor. Every single one of us become ambassadors that weekend, because if you're downtown, there's always people that are from out town. Hey, where's a good place to eat around here? Hey, hey, if I need to get some clothes for the kids, where can I go do that? Where stuff like that. And guess what? You're the one saying, we go here, and you tell them your favorite places, and you be an ambassador for us.
Yes. Please do. And if you are willing, or you have a company and you have employees and you need to do some community service and you want to get out and expose your brand that weekend, come and volunteer with us. We are looking for volunteers. Again, we're looking for those brand ambassadors that are going to talk great about Roswell and why this is the best community to live in southeast New Mexico.
Hey, maybe there's a bunch of people that have aspirations to be docents and those kind of things.
Yes.
Hey, this is great training for all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There will be activities at the zoo, again, downtown on the courthouse lawn, Pioneer Plaza, at Cielo Grande. There's going to be a night sky event that the Daily Record is doing. So just so many different activities.
Sure. And then, of course, always need the army of volunteers for the needed but less, the logistical side, setting up booths, setting up tables, making sure water's where it needs to be, all that logistical stuff. We need an army of those folks that are available to do that. So if you've got time to volunteer during the week, and even if it's only one day out of the 3 or half a day, any of that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. And then Saturday night, our big concert, Midland Academy of Country Music, nominee. Come out, buy a ticket. It's $15 for general admission. Yeah. We did reach out to the artist, the band management, with our partner here, Josh Ragsdale at Pecos Flavor Winery. He's been helping us coordinate the logistics, and there might be some VIP tickets coming.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Which
might include like a meet and greet and all that kind of stuff, possibly?
Crossing our fingers. So we put that in.
Knocking on some more wood.
Hopefully that will pan out, but I'm super excited. In preparation for UFO Festival, we have a new app coming. Okay. So that's our next thing that I want to talk about.
So it'll be like a UFO Festival app?
It is a visit widget. It's Visit Roswell.
So it's for all of tourism of Roswell.
Everything tourism Roswell. It's available, and I'm sharing it with our community today on the iOS and Android phones. Okay. So if you want to check it out, we're in our beta testing, so we're still launching. We're still updating. We'd love your feedback.
Sure.
But it's really to help our visitors and even our locals.
I was about to say,
activities, events. If you are an organization and you have an event, we will advertise at no cost on the app as well as RC Roswell website.
I look at this as a modern, very modern version of answering the question when people sit down, what do you want to do this weekend? Yes. I don't know. What do you want to do? There's nothing going on. Get on your visit widget.
Yes.
And next thing you know, there's a whole list of things that are happening this weekend in Roswell, or deals going on at various locations or whatever it is. It's kind of, it sounds like it's almost like the, you could turn it in for, how newspapers always on their Friday editions have like their weekend journal, and it talks about this can in essence be a modernized version of that for locals. And obviously for our out-of-towners, when they get to town, they hit it and say, oh, look at all there's this place to go or this place to go. And so I you're right. I think I almost find that you might find locals find it more helpful than out-of-town folks sometimes. So
it definitely has a lot of local feel. We have like our Invaders schedule that's listed on there. We have Alien Dragway. So they're having events and they're sending us their stuff regularly. And it's free. It's the same thing that you're going to see on C Roswell's website. The one neat thing is that if you want to offer a special deal specific to your business, we can do that, and we can target market these locals through the app.
So it's a quick way to get that word out.
A quick coupon or sending them a text message notification when they sign up. It's all optional, but it's called C Roswell. It's the visit widget, and it's on your Android or iPhone store.
And obviously, as a business and you're participating in this thing, you can use that to tell your customers, hey, you want to hear exclusive deals only for us? Download the visit widget and be on the lookout, because from time to time we're going to put something up there.
Yes.
And so you can use that to kind of a synergy where they're marketing for each other here, as the businesses are telling their customers to get more so they can service their customers better. And on the other side, the city's saying, hey, come see all the wonderful things we have in this community that you may or may not know about. So it's really I like it. It's a great idea.
Thanks.
So I guess the public's is download it, start utilizing it, and give
us feedback.
Give us some good feedback. Find things that you're finding useful, things that you're not finding useful, things that you would like to see in there that you would find useful. Feedback all that information, so now they can go from we've got a product, let's tweak it to make it the most useful for everyone.
Yes. We have 2 other interactive things, because that's my goal, is we want people to have an interactive, immersive experience when they come to Roswell. There are tours and challenges on the app. So if they go through a tour, so right now we have the museum murals throughout the city of Roswell. If they go through that tour and they check in on the app, they come back to the visitor center, and we're going to give them a free little token of our appreciation. The other challenge, if they go into so many businesses in our downtown district or throughout the city, again, we're gonna incentivize them to get out in our community, and so they can get badges, and it's almost like catching Pokemon or geocache. It's kind of like that, and so we're really excited and hope our locals love it and hope the tourists enjoy it as well.
That in of itself may be something to do for the weekend for some of the family says, hey, let's go on a mural scavenger hunt this weekend and go and try to find all the murals and play in the game here a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, you accidentally learn stuff about our community and find out things. So
we're going to have like a history tour. I mean, there's so much that we'll be rolling out. We're starting small, and then we'll grow to it, but would love your feedback.
Absolutely. And I could even see, we're just all the time, but I could even see this evolving to creating new programs and events, like maybe not so much this town, but you know how like back east they'll have like ghost tours and things like that. I mean, I don't know if our town has enough haunted history to do that, but there you go. But I'm saying we could do all that through this, you know what I mean? So there's towns like Savannah, Georgia that had like civil wars go through them, and so their ghost opportunity is a little bit stronger than ours out here in Roswell.
Absolutely. There is that opportunity, definitely starting with history, because we have so much great history here. So much great
hidden history.
Hidden history. And so John LeMay, he's helping us with that. He's going to be our voiceover. And so it'll be great. It'll be really great.
Very cool. But again, look in your Android and Apple stores right now and download it. Is it under Roswell Visit Widget?
It's under See Roswell Visit Widget.
See Roswell Visit Widget. You type that in, it should pop right up.
Yes.
Although if you put like Roswell Visit Widget, it'll probably should pop up in your
and you'll see our
there.
brand. You'll see our logo.
So download it. It's free. All that good stuff. And give it a dance later on today here.
Yeah.
Of course, if you have any questions about anything we're talking about, 2 websites I'm going to point you to. The RoswellConnect.com, all things recreation side of the city.
Yes.
Tickets, passes to like the museums and the aquatic center, all that. You're going to go through Roswell Connect. And then the city's government main web page, roswell-nm.gov. You can go there to do things like pay your water bill, learn about city council, learn library, all the other
great things,
parts of the city here. You can find access to all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Very good. Is there anything we missed?
No, we're hiring. So if you need a job for the summer, guest services, $12 to $15 an hour.
By the way, those college kids, like I said, the pool's opening. Get them applying now and then get their lifeguard training, do all that required. So mid-May when things open up, they're ready and
ready to go.
Whistle in hand and that red thing that they all carry in Baywatch.
Yes. Yes. Be great.
Thank you, Juanita.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
Don't work too hard. I have to tell you that because you don't listen. It is
never
It is 8:54. Let's do a quick break before we get you into news. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Tesla reported Wednesday that its first quarter net earnings were over 7 times greater than a year ago, powered by strong sales despite global supply chain problems and pandemic-related production cuts in China. The electric vehicle and solar panel company made $3.32 billion from January through March. It may be harder for Tesla to post similar numbers later this year. It's facing costs from ramping up new factories in Germany and Texas, as well as rising commodity prices. The heads of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank warned Wednesday that rising interest rates are squeezing the world's poorest countries as they struggle with the coronavirus and soaring food prices. World Bank officials say there's a huge buildup of debt, especially in the poorest countries. As interest rates rise, the debt pressures are mounting on developing countries, and solutions need to be found. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
The Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District is looking for a qualified field technician to join their team. The PVACD conserves the waters of the Roswell Artesian Basin with lands located in both Chavez and Eddy counties. Please visit their website at pvacd.com for requirements and job qualifications or for more information on this great career opportunity. Resumes can be submitted at the PVACD office located at 2303 East 2nd Street in Roswell. The Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District is an equal opportunity employer.
At LeGrand Funeral Chapel, we believe that every funeral should be a reflection of the life it honors. The joys, the triumphs, the faith, the family, and so much more. For us, no detail is too small, no request too big. This is Rosa Aguilar. When the time comes to choose a funeral home, we hope you'll let us serve your family. At LeGrand Funeral Chapel and Crematory, we make it personal.
For over 40 years, Sierra Blanca Motors here in Roswell have been providing locals with quality vehicles and are committed to providing you quality vehicles and service for many years to come. No sales gimmicks, no inflated pricing, just a quality pre-owned vehicle listed at retail pricing or less. Have a used vehicle to sell? Get top trade-in value or an amazing cash offer today. Let Danny or Jose provide you a great car buying experience. Call 575-622-7907. Or stop by Sierra Blanca Motors at 720 South Main Street in Roswell. Se habla español.
Roswell Medical Clinic is pleased to welcome Tanya Montoya as the newest member of the family. Tanya's expertise includes functional medicine, wellness, and women's health. Tanya seeks to truly partner with her patients to provide cutting-edge ideas to not only treat chronic diseases, but reverse them. Roswell Medical Clinic is committed to listening and helping each patient become the best version of themselves. Call Roswell Medical Clinic at 575-623-3311 or stop by 111 West Hobb Street. Roswell Medical Clinic, providers that listen.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:58. Stay tuned the next hour, about 9:15 or so. We're going to have Crystal Noble join us with the Roswell Humane Society. She joins us every couple weeks. Gives us an update on pets that are looking for homes right now at the Roswell Humane Society. And, of course, talking about any deal specials they've got over at the thrift store, which is a great place to support because not only do you get to buy or even sell things to them, get rid of stuff that you don't need anymore, but you can buy stuff at deeply discounted prices. I know I'm telling you, if you're a first married couple or first starting out and you need to buy things like coffee pots and pans and stuff like that, go visit the thrift store. You could buy all that stuff practically brand new, pay pennies on the dollar what you would if you bought it new, and you don't break the bank while you're trying to build your household there. And then the big bonus is all that money you just spent buying those odds and ends for your home is going back to help our animals here. So shop that thrift store there. But anyway, we'll get updates on that, membership, all that good stuff next hour. And, of course, if you missed any part of the show, you can always go back ksvptv.com to the Mornings with Mike Winters channel there, or our 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook wall, or our Roswell's Talk FM YouTube channel. They're all there for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. All right, it is 9 o'clock. You are listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden with a message. Russia's Vladimir Putin.
He will never succeed in dominating and occupying all of Ukraine. He will not. That will not happen.
And to help keep it from happening, Mr. Biden pledging more U.S. military aid for Ukraine.
Today, I'm announcing another $800 million to further augment Ukraine's ability to fight in the east, in the Donbas region. This package includes heavy artillery weapons, dozens of howitzers, and 144,000 rounds of ammunition to go with those howitzers.
But the president says he's almost reached the limit of what Congress has authorized, so next week he will submit a supplemental budget proposal to provide more military and economic assistance to Ukraine. Mr. Biden also announcing that U.S. ports going to be closed to Russian ships. And Russia is ordering its troops not to storm the last remaining Ukrainian stronghold in Mariupol.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has instead ordered Russian military forces in the port city to block it so that not even a fly comes through. The only remaining Ukrainian forces are holed up in the sprawling Azovstal steel plant. Leaving the plant in Ukrainian hands blocks the Russians of declaring victory in Mariupol, which is of strategic importance in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk demanded that a humanitarian corridor is created from the steel plant to release about 1,000 civilians and 500 wounded soldiers. I'm Karen Chamas.
President Biden says there is no decision yet on whether Title 42 border restrictions will be allowed to lapse next month. An even greater flood of illegal immigration expected if and when Title 42 is lifted. On Wall Street, stocks are higher. Right now, the Dow is up 211 points, the Nasdaq ahead 69, and the S&P 27 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3377 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3377. Enjoy.
The French presidential candidates, incumbent Emmanuel Macron and challenger Marine Le Pen, debated the issue.
If you look at the editorialists and commentators, they all are saying that Macron won. I think, on the arguments, he clearly had the better of it. He had still a greater grasp of the detail, and he was able to point up inconsistencies quite regularly in Marine Le Pen's discourse. But people aren't voting necessarily for her on whether or not she technically won the arguments, whether she got the last word in and so on. I mean, it's much more about her image, her personality, what she represents. And in that, I think she kind of confirmed herself and maybe elevated her status somewhat.
The BBC's Hugh Schofield in Paris. World Health Organization says the number of new COVID-19 cases worldwide decreased by nearly a quarter last week. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A communications failure caused brief evacuation of the U.S. Capitol last evening.
A twin-engine plane flying over the city deemed a probable threat by police. A short while later, members of the Army's Golden Knights parachute team jumped from that plane and landed on the field at Nationals Park just before the Nats game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi blamed the FAA in a statement, saying the apparent failure to notify Capitol Police of the pre-planned flyover of National Stadium is outrageous and inexcusable. Two people familiar with the matter tell the AP investigators are still trying to figure out why the event wasn't properly coordinated with law enforcement officials. Tim McGuire, Washington.
As of today, New Jersey has joined 17 other states where the sale of recreational marijuana is legal. Garden State voters approved it in a referendum back in November of 2020. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm electrical guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tracing the air notes.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Welcome to it.
Indeed.
Hope your Thursday's going well.
The penultimate day of your work week.
Yeah, what he said.
It was on my Word of the Day toilet paper like 2 weeks ago.
Have you not gone to the bathroom since?
I did. Tomorrow's word is loquacious.
Oh, very good.
I peeked ahead. I kind of like you do with your calendar.
Kind of like my. By the way, I haven't looked at my Bob Ross.
You haven't dragged out Bob Ross in a minute.
Let's see what's going on for Bob Ross in April.
Speaking of Word of the Day toilet paper.
Yeah. Let's see. That's May. Not there yet. Oh, April the 23rd. Let's put a few little highlights in here to make them little rascals just sparkle in the sun.
I like it.
That's our quote for that day.
That's tomorrow.
Let's have you.
Let's see.
Oh, no, that's Saturday.
Not every day is a quote. Some days are paintings.
Yeah, some have it, some are...
Sometimes we have to skip ahead or look back.
Like the 21st, for instance, today. We get a lovely, looks like a river painting by some trees in the river here. I'll show you.
Nice.
My big fat fingers over top of it there, but, you kind of see it there.
It's a happy landscape.
Little happy trees and some situation.
I like it.
Let's see if
there's
there's
a
any
weird
more...
angle. Sorry.
Here they got a quote for tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
People who paint have an artist license that says you can do anything on this canvas that you want to do. If you want to talk to your bushes, that's all right.
Talk to your bushes.
If you want to give them names, that's okay.
I like it.
So let's see.
All right.
Talk to your bushes.
Sometimes you got to talk to your bush.
So I'm going to tell my husband tomorrow is bush talk day because that's his birthday.
There you go.
Talk to the bush.
Say if you want to.
Give it a name.
If you'd like.
Oh, I'm taking that away.
There are no mistakes. Remember, just happy accidents.
There you go.
Yes, there we go.
Thank you, Bob.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bob, for the words of inspiration.
Yeah. So happy Thursday. If you're not motivated and inspired now, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm curious. Hand me old Bob real quick. I just want to look at something real quick.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. You can go ahead and give the rundown if you need to.
Move on a bunch of my
do some
day.
flipping here.
That third voice you heard is Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society. She will join us here officially, I guess you'd say, in a few minutes here, chit-chatting about all things Humane Society and pets available for adoption. And is animal control pretty full right now? I thought I saw a post online yesterday where they had like 4 or 5 dogs that were on the short list there.
I went over there Tuesday morning, I want to say. They had some open cages, but I haven't been over since Tuesday, so I don't know.
In all fairness, I didn't check the date on the post. It was like a Facebook scroll, and there was like a picture of some animals saying these are at the animal control and basically on the short list need to be adopted ASAP.
I can only say I know what was there Tuesday because I ain't got room to bring nothing over. So.
You're full right now. Okay, so
no room at the inn.
So adoptions are aplenty available right now.
Yes.
So very good. So we'll talk more of that with Crystal here in just a few. Did you find what you're looking for?
Couple things, Bob.
I'm not Bob.
No, I know. I'm addressing Bob. I'm a little disappointed, Bob. First of all, my birth. I wanted to look at my birthday.
Oh.
First of all, he went ahead and crammed my birthday into a weekend of 2 days, which is upsetting and aggravating in the first case. But my birthday, which is August the 7th, is in the middle of summer, right? Take a look at this picture.
Snow.
It's a snow-covered field. And I'm not trying to question Bob's artistic integrity, but what about that says summertime to you?
What? Go back to that page.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Just.
But hey,
you know your birthday, right? Should
Yeah,
find it
I
pretty
do.
easily.
I
want to take a close look at that picture.
All right, there you go.
I wonder if it's fog on the floor.
Well, see, I'm going to give you, this is Bob's world.
Yeah.
His happy trees go where they want.
You know what? You're right.
What if, just say what if, what if this is like a forest in the clouds?
Okay.
Like, that's not snow. It's the top of the cloud. And there's these happy little trees sitting on top of the cloud, little fence, and just a little bit of bushes, and just a nice respite where you could sit, maybe put a bench, and just kick back on your cloud.
I like the idea of him being in the clouds, but also building a fence because, hey, I still have my boundaries.
Well, and it's not a functional fence.
We're
It's
living
more
in the
decorative.
clouds, but I'm keeping the nonsense out.
And to be honest, it's
keeping
not
my cattle at bay.
It's not a full fence. It's
No.
just like a little
It is
couple,
just the one.
Not,
No,
not-
you know
not
what?
secure at all.
It's the tree stumps that didn't make it to the cloud.
Ah.
You know, they're not tall enough, so they're trying to climb up each other.
Oh, okay. So they're just peeking over.
There you go.
They're peeking.
Gotcha.
There you go. So,
Hey, but you know,
Problem
and also
solved.
depending on what part of the world you're at in August, it can be snowing.
this is true.
That is-
Maybe he's in the mountains in Alaska.
Could be.
And
Could very
even
well
some
be that
parts
he's
of Colorado get snowing
down in Australia.
all summer long.
That's right.
So
Well, our summer is their winter, so maybe that's just like a wooded glen in
Tasmania.
maybe he
or
does not like
Queensland.
United States summers, so he winters elsewhere.
He
you know, like
vacations
snowbirds. You know,
south of the equator.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
because he's a wintry man. Because
I
he
see.
likes the wintry, cool months.
He is a thick fella, so maybe he does like cooler. Okay. See, I like the way that we're all kind of brainstorming this.
Yeah, see.
Yeah. Bob's work is interpretive, really. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
up for
Bob
interpretation.
decided that you needed to be down under the equator for your birthday.
Bobby, I got a deal for you.
That's right.
7 days, Queensland, Australia.
Hey, if you look close, there might be a Tasmanian devil under that tree. You don't know.
Outer Perth.
Now you're going West Coast.
Right? Getting fancy with it.
Well, you got to go southern Australia. Because if you go northern Australia, it's going to be just as hot.
Yeah.
All the time because it's close to the equator.
That's
it's
true.
It's just the
That's
opposite.
true.
The farther south in Australia, the more you get winter. If you go north, they don't get it. It's like going to Florida here. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
always warm there. So,
where they
but
beach.
down like like Melbourne, Sydney. I think that's southern. If I'm trying to do a map in my head, and Perth's kind of southern west coast, so they might get snow there. But Tasmania is south.
Brisbane.
There.
I was going to say, I've looked this up before, but Brisbane seems like pretty temperate.
I saw penguins when I was in Australia.
Really? Oh, yeah, southern Australia? Yeah.
Because I was there. Actually, I was there in their summer months, but it was cold, windy, and nasty down there, so it was penguins.
I saw
Nice.
penguins in Albuquerque at the zoo.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. They did the slidey thing. It was cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I spent forever in there. I was like, oh, I wonder if I could find a way to climb up and hop in there with them. And my husband's like, don't dare. And then I gave him the story of how I am supposed to be trespassed from the zoo. But yet I was still there.
Here's, my poster was up on the wall for a minute.
That's right. I'm on a zoo milk carton.
A no zoo list.
Okay, so
And
I
frowned
will
upon
tell
in the
you,
botanical garden, too.
I am the reason why they now have a lot of extra security around certain animals.
Yeah, you're the one
Hippopotamus
climbing.
I know that
is
you've got
more
official
specific.
business, but I really feel like a deep dive is necessary into that statement specifically.
So prior to working at the Humane Society, this was like probably a year before I started working there.
Okay.
We took my niece and nephew to the zoo. It was me, my brother, my grandparents.
In Albuquerque?
In Albuquerque.
Okay.
Well, they just, they have the bridge where you walk over the hippopotamuses.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like hippopotamuses. I have a cookie jar. Okay.
Nice.
But so they didn't have that security breach where, you couldn't reach over.
Gotcha.
So I laid down on the bridge and hung over to touch one of the hippopotamuses.
You do understand that hippopotami are incredibly mean.
I do.
Okay.
I do. That's
Good
why
show.
I like them, because they're like me. Short, little legs, round, and mean.
You ever watched them poop?
No.
It's so much fun because they do this thing with their tails.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and,
they just
then in
fling
the
it.
water, it's all like a little propeller.
Have y'all ever watched on Animal Planet? They have, and there's a couple different versions of this show, but it's called The Zoo. And there's a
I've
Bronx
seen it.
one. I think there's a San Diego one.
There's a Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
basically the premise is they kind of follow the zookeepers around the zoo while they tend to the animals. It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I saw one on their hippopotami pen there, and they were talking, and I like you said, yeah, they're stubborn, but They were all kind of nice and showing up for rub downs and all kind of stuff.
Which is the last hippopotamus born at the Cincinnati Zoo. Like, I followed that from, like, her mama's pregnancy to the birth to everything.
Yeah.
So, but if hippopotami are raised in captivity, they are as friendly as a dog.
Okay. See, that's why I figured it seems like they could be domesticated.
And
if the right steps were taken.
You know, they really like their teeth brushed. So for a long period of time, I wanted to be the hippopotamus dentist.
Okay.
Because the toothbrush is literally
like pretty big.
Bigger than my phone.
Because don't they usually have like birds? Like there's like a bird
land in
that land in their mouth and
pecks.
eat. Yeah.
Well, they don't have that at zoos.
Sure.
So they actually have a person who is designated who just cleans the teeth and everything inside the hippopotamus's mouth. So the trick to this is you give them a whole pumpkin that goes on one half of the mouth.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a wedge in there while you're brushing the other side.
Okay.
And then their reward is they get to smash the pumpkin. Then you get like a watermelon for the other side, and you wedge it in the side you already cleaned, and then you go clean the pumpkin remnants.
All right.
But you're basically chiseling and pecking out everything that the birds do in the wild.
That's incredible.
Is it odd that when you told me that story, I just instantly had an image of a hippopotamus sitting there, mouth wide open, with a big pumpkin wedged in there, and in the background you're hearing, "Today is the greatest day of ever known."
But my whole reason for hanging over the side of the bridge was because there was a mom and a baby, and they were swimming under the bridge. Well, I wanted to touch mom.
Okay.
I don't want to touch the baby because I already know they're very protective. I got to touch mom.
And you still have all your extremities, so
I
that's
have
good.
everything.
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
I got to brush my hand from the top of her head all the way back, and then my brother took action. And we went
I was saying,
over
did two people
yeah, you
start
feel a hand
brushing
on your
one
back.
side?
So, yeah, my brother jerks me up, and then the zoo guy's running around, "You need to leave. You can't be doing that." And then next time we went to the zoo, which I was supposed to be trespassed, but, you know, they don't really check.
They didn't look at the
They
photos.
had a whole bunch of security things up, and I was like, man, my brother's all, "Look what you caused." And I was like, but I got to touch the hippo. So
But
I
you
am
touched
why
the
there's
hippo.
extra security at the Albuquerque
We call
Zoo.
this the crystal fence.
And even part of them are electrified, by the way.
Yeah.
You didn't bring marbles, did you? They don't actually eat marbles, I learned.
No.
Sorry, it was a hungry,
Just a
hungry
pocket
hippos
full of
joke.
oyster crackers. Just
About two people got that joke. The hungry hippos joke.
The only animals you're allowed to feed at the Albuquerque Zoo are like the birds that are right there by like the auditorium.
the ducks and stuff.
Yeah.
The dispenser. They actually have a treat dispenser there.
Yeah, you pay and then you feed. And I was like, I don't want to feed the animals I'm allowed to feed. I want to feed the animals I'm not allowed to feed.
When I was at the Grand Canyon, there's this place there, a little restaurant, that little burger stand or whatever. But apparently, there's a bunch of squirrels that hang out right in the same spot. And these squirrels are notorious for stealing your food. And they're like, don't feed the squirrels. It's like, you can't help it. They feed themselves.
They help themselves.
They're the Yogi Bear of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. You stop to take a picture, turn around, your sandwich going.
I know we've got official business to get to. I have to bring this up. I've seen this a few times. There's a sign on a street headed towards McGaffey that says, and it's in somebody's yard, and it says, "Slow squirrel crossing."
Really?
I think I've seen that.
Now, because I'm me, I read it as slow squirrel crossing. So I'm looking around for this incredibly slow squirrel I'm supposed to be watching out for, just like slothing it across the
There's
street.
a turtle crossing the street with a squirrel behind him, and the turtle's going, man, you're
It's
slow.
like the slow children at play thing. Catch the ball, Jimmy. Like I want
Why don't they
slow
speed
children.
up?
Right.
They need to put a comma after that.
I see
Instead
that
of
sign.
saying like slow squirrel crossing, and you say slow, comma, squirrel crossing. So that way it justifies, hey, that is a break.
Yeah, the slow part's for you. Squirrel crossing's why you need to slow.
Squirrel crossing. That's for everyone.
That adjective is not. But yeah, it's I've seen that. You know what? It's 20 after. Probably should just start the hour. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today, and then get ready for very gusty wind coming our way tomorrow with a low pressure system headed in. Sunny and mid-90s today and breezy for the overnight hours, mid-50s and clear. Then we could get some wind gusting at about 50 miles per hour tomorrow. Blowing dust will be a problem across the roadways. We'll have sunshine and mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 73 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 10%, with winds calm at the moment. That 10% humidity is the reason why we have the fire, the red flag warning that'll kick in. Well, actually, it's officially kicked in and will remain in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Winds won't be as bad today as they will tomorrow, but still a little breezy. Sunny, 95 for a high. Northwest winds 5 to 10. Later increasing out of the south, 15 to 20 this afternoon. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 56 degrees. Southwest winds 10 to 20. And then Friday, I wish I had better news, but it doesn't. I mean, it's going to be warm. That's good, but the winds are going to be bad. We got red flag and high wind. In fact, we have the high wind watch in effect from 9 to midnight tomorrow, and fire weather watch from noon until 9 p.m. tomorrow. I imagine that'll all get upgraded to red flag warnings at some point later. But during the day, they're talking areas of blowing dust, sunny 94, south winds 10 to 20 early, later increasing 20 to 25, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. The winds continue Friday night, more areas of blowing dust. Overnight low of 53, winds will remain up out of the southwest 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour after midnight. Those winds expected dropping down 15 to 25, but still pretty breezy. And then that's actually bringing cooler temps for the weekend. Saturday, sunny, highs near 80, so we're going to see about a 15-degree temperature drop. But it will remain breezy, west winds 15 to 20, early increase in 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour on Saturday. Sunday, we're back down in the upper 70s, sunny, 78 for a high on Saturday. Monday, when you head back to work and school, sunny and 74, and I don't want to get your hopes up, but they're saying there's a chance, like a 30% chance of rain on Tuesday. We'll see what happens there. There's a 70% chance it won't rain on Tuesday, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a higher chance.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, knock on wood. All right, it is 9:23. We got a 3-minute commercial break to take care of. We're going to do that right now, and then Crystal will join us here, and we'll talk Humane Society on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
If your car breaks down, no need to cry, because there's always a pal nearby at Big O. At Big O Tires. Locally owned will get you in gear. That's because you've known us for years at Big O. Big O Tires. Don't need to sweat any extra labor. You can always trust a good neighbor at Big O. At Big O Tires. The best service is part of our code. Need a cup of sugar? We're down the road at Big O. At Big O Tires.
Now through April 24th, buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa AP3, Mesa HT, Cooper Endeavor, and Cooper Endeavor Plus brand tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation charges extra. Required on all 4 tires. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price. Not to exceed $35 where permitted. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers. At participating locations, no cash value. Some stores in Missouri, Minnesota, and Kansas are company owned.
How do you know if someone loves you? Often someone will tell you that you're loved, but wouldn't it be better if they showed you? That's exactly what God has done. First, He told us. All through the Bible, God says that He loves us. But He didn't stop with words. He then showed His love. You know the verse. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son. The interesting thing about God's love is that it's not based on who we are, but on who He is. God doesn't love us because we deserve it. He loves us because it's His nature. This kind of love doesn't exist anywhere else, and it will never let us down. Have you allowed yourself to experience the true love of God? It's available, and God longs to give it to you, but you must be willing to accept it. Come and join us at Country Club Road as we not only encounter the love of God, but then joyously reside in it.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Crack the vault and save this month at Roswell Honda. For 6 amazing days, prices slashed across the lot to save you thousands. Plus, get a 12-pack of soda and a trip to Mexico just for stopping by, a $15 gas gift card with a test drive, and a car detailing kit with purchase. And crack the vault for the chance to win cash. Then join Roswell Honda April 23rd from 10 to 1 for free food and drinks and your chance to win big. Vault in and win. April 18th through the 23rd at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd. Brew at the Zoo is back for 2022. Come and tap into a worthy cause. Happening 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. April 30th at the Spring River Zoo. Enjoy great food, an art auction, live music, entertainment and games, and some of the best ice-cold craft beer around. A $40 ticket gets you 15 samples and the 2022 Friends of the Zoo glass. Designated driver tickets are only $25 and come with water, tea, or soft drinks. Early bird pricing is now available through April 16th for only $30. Proceeds go towards exhibits, enclosures, and enrichment for the animals. Get your tickets now for a good time and a worthy cause at friendsofspringriverzoo.org.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, officially here
officially now, yes. Official. Harump. But
don't mind the hippo talk earlier. That's
right.
In the past.
That was not official talk. This is official talk here. So don't go petting hippos at zoos. Without permission, of course.
Without permission. There you
go. For folks that aren't familiar, Crystal joins us twice a month, and we chat about pets that are looking for homes at the Humane Society. And of course, just encouraging support for the Humane Society, whether it's becoming a member or utilizing and shopping and participating at the thrift store. All of those things are making donations. All of that helps the Humane Society do what it does to make sure that we find fun, loving homes for all these pets. So that's the goal. Some days it's easier than others, but that's the goal.
It is. Some days, I absolutely love my job.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some days to where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And it's not because of the animals. It's because of the type of people we have to deal with.
Sure. Yeah, people don't. There's a lot of people out there that don't treat animals like members of the family. And
they do very cruel and inhumane things. And it makes me very angry. And legally, I can't go around shooting everybody that does that stuff. So,
but you wanna?
Oh, many.
Yeah, I understand.
But
you
get
get frustrated. You get mad.
There are days where certain people just make the job very hard to do.
Sure.
But the animals, at the end of the day, is the main reason why we're there, is to take care of them and make sure that they can find a home that's going to treat them with all the love they have, and as a family member, and do everything right by them that they can.
Absolutely. And dare I say, provide a benefit to the family as well.
Right.
There's a reason. I'm not talking service dogs and stuff, but in actuality, that's kind of what they're doing. Just they don't have the formal training for it per se.
People who have animals have a happier life.
Yeah, exactly. They just you get and for some people it's a reason to especially you got older senior, maybe the kids are all grown and everything, so that dog's their companion or that cat is their companion. That's
right.
That's the one they fawn over, that gives them when your life slows down and you start, we all go through it at some point where you're like, or will be going through it, and it's like, well, all right, what's my purpose here? What's my thing? And sometimes that pet and providing love and giving it, that's their purpose. And so that's all wonderful things to do. So this is why we want to adopt. We want to, all the things we talk about, teaching kids responsibility, companions, those are all good ideas as long as all of them are done with supervision and done under the right pretenses. To just do that without all parties involved or informed, or as a parent, you're expecting the kids to take care of the animal. They're not going to do it right. You're going to have to step in. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And you got to be prepared to do that. And if you're not, then you shouldn't adopt a pet.
No, and we screen everybody who comes through to adopt from us. It's not like a pick and go. It's nothing like that. When you walk in, you're welcome to walk through, look at the animals. If there's one you're interested in, we'll tell you anything we know about that animal, do introductions. But if we feel you are not a fit family, we will refuse any adoption.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're either going to see that animal again or worse. The animal's is going to die or mistreated or something like
Right. And the way we operate is we would rather have that animal with us than in a home that's going to neglect it and mistreat it.
Yep.
Because we know what care we provide for that animal. And at the main reason of our job is to find these animals a suitable, loving home. And if we feel that you do not fit those criteria, we will not adopt you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so please understand that when you go through the protocols, that is to adopt a pet, and they're like, why so strict? This is why. This is why, because we want to make sure, and 9 times out of 10, that's not a problem. Most people are like, yeah, I got a fenced-in yard, we got a loving home, we got shelter, water, food, it's going to be, or no, my cat is going to be indoors only, and they're all going to be spayed, neutered, and all that good stuff. Most people don't, but you always get one or two that, my dog's an outdoor dog, guard cat or guard dog.
Guard cat, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, and so, and we don't want, chaining up a dog in the backyard with a water bowl and that's where its home is all the time is not a way to live for a dog.
No, that basically is just a yard ornament.
Yeah.
And we're not about yard ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a yard ornament, go to Ace or Home Depot and get a gnome.
Hobby Lobby, they got a great selection of things you can throw in your yard. Yeah. Home Depot, any of these places got stuff.
If that's what you're looking for, go get a gnome and put a chain around its neck. Put a water bowl next to it. Don't try to go and get a dog.
Yeah. Someone told me, go get one of those robot toy dogs at Walmart.
Yeah,
or something and do that.
One of the battery operated dogs.
Yeah. Because that one, when you're bored with it, you walk away and it just sits there. But, you don't have to, but yeah, that's, if you're not willing to make these animals part of your family, then maybe you should think elsewhere about it or not adopting. And I know animal control, they have less stringent requirements, and so people choose that, which is fine, but provide the loving home. Don't because if you don't, then odds are pretty good it's going to end right back up at one of these facilities or worse.
Somebody, like one of your neighbors, is going to call us.
Yeah.
And we're going to send them out for a welfare check, and then your dog's going to be picked up.
Sure. Or even if you're not knowing what you're getting into, because I think you also get probably some returns because they don't realize, yeah, dogs and cats do things. Like sometimes they're puppies and they chew stuff and you got to train them. You can't just It's not like a phone you pull it out of the box and start using it. You gotta train it.
They don't come pre-trained.
Yeah. And so people don't realize all that involved, and they're like, I can't handle this. And so please know fully what you're getting into before you decide that you're going to make a pet part of your home.
And one of the things that we do is we work with one of the dog trainers here in town. And he has a special discounted price for anybody who adopts a dog from the Humane Society that goes through his training class. And it's it's Jimmy Preston.
Okay.
So if you adopt a dog from us, and we're pretty sure this dog is going to need a little bit of training in certain issues, we will give you his card.
Good.
And we will tell you, make sure that you tell him it's adopted from the Humane Society, because he does do a special price for that.
Yeah. If you want to save a little money doing it.
A dog that has an issue that, we're unsure how to deal with, we'll call Jimmy. He'll come down there and he'll help us deal with it. So that way, when we do put that animal up for adoption, that issue is already dealt with.
Sure. And the thing is, it's all about understanding pets. And this is where, and what I mean by that is animals' behavior, there's a cause and effect. Something is causing them to act in that way. If it's out of character or irrational, something different. Maybe it's a medical issue. Maybe it's an environment issue. Maybe it's a food issue. It could be. It's not the dog or the cat being rowdy or whatever. You know what I mean? It's doing it because it's trying to communicate there's an issue, and we don't understand their communications, and so we misinterpret.
And one thing that people really need to understand is when you go to a training class.
Yeah.
That training class is for you
as much as the dog.
You how to speak to your dog.
Otherwise, the trainer's going to be able to control your dog, and you ain't. And that's how it works. You have to be very much involved at every facet of that.
Basically, the training class is for you, and it teaches you how to handle your dog, how to command your dog where your dog will understand you and what you're wanting, because a lot of the times people don't understand. Your dog does not understand, do this.
Right. Yeah.
They understand, words, sit, down, stay.
One-word
you've
commands.
Taught them.
Yeah.
You can't, some people have gone to the extreme of saying, go to the fridge and get me a beer. But, they've worked very hard at that.
Sure.
But your basic commands, down, stay, sit, roll over, those are commands that, your dog is easier to understand with the training and with you working with them. They're not just going to come out of the box pre-ready. This is not Robots, the cartoon where you build your kid and it walks and it's ready to go.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
I've even heard, when you name your pets, maybe use like one-syllable names and things because it's easier for them to understand and interpret it quicker that that's their name, that's their... I've heard that. I mean, I've got multiple syllable names for my animals, but I've heard like for dogs especially, if you name them like Rex, Bob, things like that, they'll pick up on their name quicker than if you name it something more elaborate, that's got multiple syllables and things.
If you reward them with a treat every time you call their name, they
pick it up
symbolize
quicker.
their name a whole lot quicker.
Gotcha. Well,
like my Dane, it's Titus. So, from a very young age, he was referred to as his name. But when he first came home to us, you would call Toby, Snooky, whatever, and he'd come running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
When I call your name, you come.
Yeah.
Titus. And then he'd be like, and I'm like, Titus. And then he'd look, oh, hey, that's me.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
It's all in how you react with your animal when you first get them and you're naming them. And a lot of people, they want to see how the dog acts before they name the dog, because the personality,
Sure.
That's...
They want to fit the name to the personality. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
Absolutely.
But, when you are choosing a name for your animal, just make sure that you reward them when you call them by the new name, so that way they know, hey, that's...
I'm telling you, positive reinforcement is the key with animal training. That's, and I'll tell you right now, potty training is crate training. It's so easy with a crate training because dogs naturally don't go to the bathroom where they sleep. And so, and if you treat the crate like a place of quiet for them, as a place where they can go and chill, then they'll like it. It's
downtime.
Yeah. Don't use it as a punishment. When they do something bad, don't send them to their crate because now they're going to look at it as a punishment, not a place that's theirs. So, and when I had my dog, I'm telling you, crate training, we had almost zero accidents in the house training her because it was so easy. And to get her to go to bed and everything was easy. I just say, all right, bedtime, and she'd willingly go right in there, be happy as a clam. You shut her in, she's good to go for the night. Get her in the morning. We had zero issues when you treat that place like it's her own, and she loved it. And sometimes she'd go there on her own and be like, it's not time yet, dude. She's like, I'm just here. And
it's funny because Titus does the same thing.
Yeah.
His crate, because he's so big, is like the size of this desk. But
we need one, yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because, he is like 100% housebroken. Like he will not, he will tear the walls down to get outside before he does anything in the house.
Yeah.
He will not do anything in his crate. And when he wants to lay down and get away from the world, he closes the door on his own. He sticks his paw, grabs that door, and closes it.
I need me time. I'm out.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Come on. And he's like, huh.
That's right.
And I'm like, okay.
I need a break.
And he's like, 5 minutes,
That's
Mama,
right.
5 minutes. But he, he was so easy to train. And then, smaller dogs, unfortunately, they have smaller bladders.
Sure.
So they require a little bit more
Frequent trips.
yes.
Yeah.
And more of a reminder because little dogs unfortunately can't always hold their bladder, the 4 or 5 hours in between your lunch hours.
Yeah. And then puppies in general, even big ones, they spittle when they get excited and things
Yeah.
and stuff.
Those are called happy pills.
Yeah, and a lot of times they outgrow that, but the little dogs, sometimes that's a continuance their whole life. But bigger dogs get that too. They just, most of them outgrow it. But because my dog Sissy did the same thing. She'd piddle on you like, you can't get mad at her. She's just excited. She's trying. She's doing her thing, and you got to understand that. And you and that's that. You got to have patience with a pet. That's just it. You gotta, because they're gonna screw up, and you gotta maintain the even keel.
They're like a toddler that never gets out of toddler stage.
And to be honest, they're interpreting every facial expression, every feeling, everything, and they're interpreting it, and that's how they're trying to figure out if you're happy or mad at them. And they may not understand why you're mad or happy at them, and so when they piddle on something like that or do something accidentally, and you get mad at them, they may not understand why you get mad at them. So it's one of those things. And don't get me wrong, discipline when there's things doing, you got to handle business, but a lot of the time understand most of these things aren't malicious in intent. They are just them trying to learn the ways, and so for you to get frustrated might set back your training and their understanding of what you want them to do.
And the majority of the time, just using a different tone of voice with them is enough to reinforce them that, I'm not supposed to do that.
Exactly. And I get out to the point where if Sissy was goofing around, like, Sissy, what are you doing? And she kind of keeps going around, Sissy, and she... And stop. It's done. She knew.
You dad voiced her.
Yeah, I just go from Sissy to Sissy, and then it's all what?
Like, you're really calling me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she did that, and that's, again, training, and it's all trust. Training is about trust, establishing trust. They're trying to trust you. You're trying to trust them. And at the end of the day, that's all you're establishing is that trust, that to where that dog or cat, at the end of the day, they're relying on you for every facet of their life. And so you got to kind of, give them that trust so they know they can trust you. And once that happens, they're going to go through walls for you. They're going to go through and do all kinds of stuff for you, and including sit when you tell them to sit, lay down when you tell them to lay down, and roll over when you tell them to roll over.
Right.
That's how training works. You got to. It's like you said. You're training the owner as much as the pet, and I'd say you're actually teaching them to have a relationship together, and that's
you're
what you're doing.
Bonding them, because you're giving them that communication together, that one understands each other.
Yeah.
When the dog does something a certain way, you know what that means now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Versus, why is my dog over here twitching his head to the side and left,
Sure. And it's not just dogs. Cats are the same way.
Oh, yeah.
It's different responses, obviously, because they're not as loyal, they kind of, but they love and respect you just as much. They just show it and do it differently.
You have to earn cats' affections.
But like for my cats, like right now, I mean, I get greeted at the door just like dogs every day. They lay. I mean, the one cat pushes envelopes to my wife. Me, not so much, because she knows I put up with a lot with her. But then when I'm done, I say, bah, and then she's done. She's like, she starts getting lippy about something. I'm like, ah. And she's like, okay, I crossed the line. Now my wife, she pushes a little more envelopes. But for me, she knows I don't give her as many chances. But what I mean is there's that love, because she'd get mad at me, and then 5 seconds later, she's back in my lap wanting me to love on her. And it's like, okay, that's the relationship,
It's like they have a goldfish brain. They're like, I forgot I already did something. Let's go back.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is. We're running short on time, but I definitely want to let's spotlight some of the pets. Talk about any deals we got or any events or anything going on at the Humane Society.
I know we're supposed to be having First Fridays with Tascosa.
Okay.
That should be the first Friday in May.
Okay.
Which I think is
next week.
Yeah.
Next Friday, whatever date that is.
I don't actually know. The following Friday.
The following Friday. Yeah. Okay. We got one more Friday.
So it's going to be May 6th.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Weeks, yes.
Okay, very good.
And then we have the Bulldog pups. They're American Bulldog mix.
Okay.
They're coming on 6.5 months of age. They're not very big. Unfortunately, the lady who released them to us is not sure what got her dog pregnant.
Okay.
But they're already smaller than mom. And they're 6 months of age. They're probably about that tall.
And so are they about done at 6 months, or are they going to grow a little bit more?
They might grow a little bit more. I don't know exactly, because not knowing what she got bred with.
Gotcha. But odds are pretty good they're not going to get much larger. They're about where they need to be.
I don't think they're going to be very big at all. Yeah. And one of them, I call him my turkey, or she, because when she barks, it sounds like a turkey gobble.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, who? It took me forever to figure out which one it was, but...
you got to record that if you get a chance.
Yeah,
you get isolated
and
I'm like, put that on Facebook. That'd be funny.
So I call her my turkey. But they're all happy. They're sweet. They're super affectionate. They love people, and they just want love. And we have 5 of them.
So if you're looking for a bulldog to bring home and be a part of the family.
And the good part about it is whatever they were bred with, they don't have the smushed face.
So they don't have to deal with some of that, the congestion and those issues that bulldogs tend to deal with, or pugs, or any of those kind of smushed in face type dogs. So. Which is, by the way, that's all for a reason. Like, and I think that's a hunting going into holes thing, why they have the smushed up faces.
The reason they have the smushed up faces is so that their bottom jaw protrudes up, so that way they can wrap around and have the jaw pressure too.
There you go. Gotcha. I knew that they were there's reasons for all that. And I know, like, some of I think Jack Russell's one of they go in holes. That's why they kind of are the way they are.
Jack Russell's go in holes. Dachshunds go in holes. Rat Terriers go in holes.
I saw Jack Russell chase a deer for a half a minute, and then the deer said, "Wait a minute, why am I running from this?" And turned around and went back after it.
He's like, "Oh, hey!"
But I swear that day, and the deer were like, "No!" And then they literally wouldn't stop. They're like, "Wait a minute!" And he saw the dog come running back this
bigger
way.
Than you. We do have the 2 Dane mixes. They're not very big. They're Doberman Great Dane mixes.
Okay. So if you want a big dog feel without actually having a big dog or ginormous dog, this might be a cool little pet for you.
They're even actually smaller than the Dobermans.
Oh, wow.
So
they're kind of a medium-sized dog at the end of the day.
And
but you want to mess
Max
with
and
people and be
Rose.
like, I got a Doberman, and they're like, oh, that's much. No, it's not about this big.
Yeah. It's not the min pin, it's the mid pin.
Okay.
Not the miniature pincher, but the medium pincher.
Yeah, mid pin. I like it.
Mid pin. We do have Chelsea, which is a Shepherd Heeler mix. She's super, super sweet. We have Sissy, which is a Pit Bull mix.
Oh, nice.
She is super, super, super sweet.
Cool.
She's probably about 55 pounds. She's a black brindle. She sits. She'll shake.
So she's had some training.
She's had some training.
Someone's worked with her.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And she's 80% housebroken.
Okay.
She holds it to the best of her capabilities, but sometimes you just got to go when you got to go.
Sure. So maybe someone that works part-time or can at least let them out during the day or something.
Right.
Probably more beneficial for a family that can do that.
Until she gets a little bit more into a routine.
Sure.
But,
how old is this dog?
Sissy is 2, I want to say.
2 years old. So still got the little bit of the puppy mentality,
yes.
but
loves to explode squeaky toys.
Okay. Well, usually dogs of that, they love to chew on things, and they're the ones that you want to give them the chew toys, but they destroy them 3 seconds. And you're like, like my dog loved tennis balls, but
stitch it.
She would rip it apart like in 15 minutes. It'd be a tatter of stuff.
Polly is the same way. You give Polly a tennis ball, and it is peeled and poofed. And it's like blink of an eye. And I'm like, how do you do that so quick?
And I'm like, hey, we could have played catch till you ate it.
Yeah. Well, we had one of the schools did a toy drive for us, and so there was a various of toys. Well, we already know that Polly shreds, but she also eats the inside, so she doesn't get those anymore.
So you don't want to have her the.
So we got like 25 tennis balls. Well, they lasted a total of 4 days because we kept changing them throughout the day, and
as soon as you get them, they're gone as quick as
And then Sissy, she got a bull.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be like like the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
But it was on a giraffe neck.
Okay.
That took about 20 minutes, and Sissy had it kaboofed, and I was like, oh.
And you know what the part that stinks about it is you're like, okay, note to self, buy tough toys. And so you'll buy like these hard rubber tires or things. You're like, oh, they can't destroy that. And they know that, and they don't want nothing to do with it. Like I'd get those for her. She'd pick it up, smell it, maybe lick it, maybe chew it for like a second, and then I put it in the toy box, and it would never be touched again.
Find the tire toys that have a squeaky inside.
Okay.
Titus has one at home.
And that one?
And that has lasted.
Okay. Because
he likes the squeaky.
Okay.
And so he can't get to the squeaky, so he continues to play with it.
So it's a good engaging toy for the dog. Cool. Yeah. See, that was my problem. Is I could never find either. I found something so tough that she didn't want to mess with it, or it wasn't tough enough and she destroyed it in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That was kind of the thing.
Really quick thrift store.
Yeah.
So they are still working on all their projects, the spring cleaning and the construction.
Okay.
They should be on track to reopen on the 27th.
Awesome.
Permitting no setbacks.
Right.
But while they have been closed, what they have been doing is they have gone through and they've removed everything off of the racks, shoes, everything.
Okay.
And completely stocked with everything completely new.
So basically, you just changed out all the inventory.
Yep, they did a complete wipeout because their donation is a plethora to just completely have restocked the entire store, and everything is completely different.
Nice. So if you haven't
Purses
been,
are different, shoes are different, clothes are different, wall decor is different.
So even if you were there last time, it's all new stuff.
Yes,
So,
it is
cool.
completely everything new. Toys, everything.
And when do they plan on opening back up?
It should be Wednesday the 27th,
Okay.
barring no setbacks from the construction, because we're having the book room redone.
Okay.
And so to make it less hazardous, because, books, metal, or wood, it tends to slope and slant.
Sure,
and
yeah.
we don't want
Books get
anybody.
heavy.
Yeah. We don't want nobody to have a bookshelf fall
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah, when you got bookshelves and they're kind of bowed in the middle there, maybe lighten the load a little bit or think about getting a new bookshelf.
Yeah. So, we're getting a whole new book room this go around.
Cool.
But if you want to call on the 27th before going down, just to make sure that they are able to reopen, as long as everything gets finished in time,
Okay.
they should reopen on the 27th.
Do me a favor. If there is an issue, shoot me a text that day
Okay.
and I'll announce on the radio for folks. Say, hey, delay on that or no game on. They're going to be open today.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely do that.
Okay.
But it's going to be complete new inventory, new everything, new books, new shoes, new clothes.
Nice.
They've got a ton of comforters and curtains, so if you need stuff for your house, they got various sizes.
Cool. So when you come out next Wednesday, it should be a whole new shopping experience. And again, every single thing you buy in there, that money goes back to the programs, back to those pets, taking care of their vet bills, paying the light bill, cleaning supplies, whatever's needed to take care of the facility and the pets. That's what it's going to be used for. So.
Yes, and if you like casual summer dresses, they've got a ton of them.
Nice. If you want to have a summer dress party, good selection to choose from right there.
Yes.
Very cool. And of course, if you have stuff to donate, always, call ahead on things. They'll call and make arrangements, but they can even pick up and things depending on date times and all that kind of stuff. And especially if it's bigger ticket items, like bigger furniture and things, they take all of it, but certain times we don't have room or we don't.
Right.
So
if you call ahead and,
Yeah.
say, hey, I've got this couch, it's approximately this size,
Yeah,
and give warning so that way they can either clear an area for it
sure.
or ask you, can you bring it or can we pick it up at this day and time to give a chance to make room for
Sure.
it? Because unfortunately, our thrift store is not that big.
Yeah, it's not a superstore. Don't have that kind of room.
No, unfortunately, no. So a lot of larger items all at once, kind of creates like a hazard in the thrift store, and we don't want anybody to trip, fall, or get hurt.
Sure.
So if you call ahead, we'll definitely make arrangements to get it in and get it taken care of.
Very good. So reach out. Don't forget, check out the website, roswellhumane.org. There you can see every single pet that is calling the Humane Society home right now. If you see not available next to their picture, that means they are still in quarantine. That does not mean they've been adopted. Those pets will be available at some point, depending on when they clear quarantine. Could be a weight issue, could be they waiting on vaccines or whatever it is. There's a reason why, or they're new to the facility and they want to make sure there's no health issues before they put them in general population, so to speak. So once all those barriers have been passed, then the not available goes away. But if you see one of those pets, you're like, oh, that's the one I want, then I encourage you to call. Check in with the Humane Society, keep tabs, and because at the end of the day, this tells Crystal and her staff that no, we got someone that wants to make this a loving home, and then you can basically get all the prerequisites done. If like they want to come out, make sure you get spayed, neuter, make sure your your home and everything's good to go for all of this, and then when the dog is able to come out of quarantine, if there's meet and greets and all that, then we can do all that and go from there. So yeah. RoswellHumane.org there, and then of course being a member is another way to get involved.
Yes, and that is linked on the Facebook page as well.
And then and come on by, give out the hours once again for thrift store and for the kennel.
The kennels are the kennels are Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 12 and 1 to 4:30, and then the thrift stores Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4:30.
But closed right now. We'll reopen next Wednesday, 27th. Update permitting on that one as far as everything keeps going on according to plan.
It's looking smooth.
Good.
So.
Good. Well, anytime there's renovations or anything like that, there's always delays. It's just the nature of the beast.
And a lot of it is because of lack of supplies.
Yeah, in COVID world, tenfold. Supply, demand, that's all.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. I know. Well, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it, as always.
Thank you.
We'll see you here in a couple weeks. And hopefully we got some great stories of some living dogs and homes and everything else making connections. So, be a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you then.
See ya.
It is 9:55. Let's do your town hall business update. Quick break before we wrap up the show.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Inflation will be on their minds as investors turn their attention to a panel discussion today with Fed Chair Jerome Powell and European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde. It will take place at a meeting of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. American Airlines lost $1.64 billion in the first quarter, a wider loss than a year ago, but says it expects to turn a profit in the spring as travel demand bounces back. Shares of Tesla flying high after the electric vehicle maker reported first quarter net earnings more than 7 times greater than a year ago. The results powered by strong sales despite global supply chain issues and pandemic-related production cuts in China. The weekly jobs report is in. Unemployment claims fell by 2,000 last week, dropping to 184,000. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Roll in and save during the Moneyopoly event at Roswell Nissan with game-changing savings on a huge selection of vehicles like a 2017 Chevy Malibu for just $279 a month, a 2018 Escape for just $249 a month, or a 2015 Rogue for just $149 a month. Get a mini Monopoly board and play the Plinko Cash Grab for your chance at cold hard cash just for stopping by. Get a free trip to Vegas with a test drive and bring your mailer for the chance to win $50,000. Moneyopoly all month long at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd. There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at RoswellUFOmuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
The Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District is looking for a qualified field technician to join their team. The PVACD conserves the waters of the Roswell Artesian Basin with lands located in both Chavez and Eddy counties. Please visit their website at pvacd.com for requirements and job qualifications or for more information on this great career opportunity. Resumes can be submitted at the PVACD office located at 2303 East 2nd Street in Roswell. The Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Procrastinators Club of America newsletter is called Last Month's Newsletter. Their first newsletter should be released any day now. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 10 o'clock. About time to kick us off the radio and wrap up for today. If you missed any part of our show, you can log on to ksvptv.com, click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. You'll find everything there. Or you can go to our 106.5 Roswell's Talk Event Facebook wall, find it all there. Or you can go to our YouTube channel and go for Roswell's Talk FM on YouTube, and you'll find it all there too.
Like and subscribe, hit that bell. Smash that bell.
There you go. There's a bell?
Yeah. You don't know about the bell?
I guess I don't.
The bell is everything. You smash that bell, you get notified about new videos when they go up.
It's not as good as smashing pumpkins.
No, you smash that like button, slam that subscribe button, and destroy that bell. That's what you need to do.
There you go.
That's right.
Is it weird that I want to listen to a Smashing Pumpkins album now? I'm just in my head. I'm just like, all of the songs.
1979 is going through your head.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. All right, we got to go. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
World is a vampire.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM.